Sunbelt Conference football on ESPN+. It does not get better than The Rock, Kid Brewer Stadium, on a beautiful November afternoon for college football. Two old rivals getting together as well as Appalachian State hosts the Thundering Herd of Marshall. A pleasant good afternoon to you. I'm David Jackson alongside Avery Hall. Glad you're with us for this one. Avery, some postseason implications in this ball game today, and also two old rivals. Doesn't get much better than this.
Doesn't get much better than this, Dave. You got two old Southern Conference rivals, now Sunbelt rivals. They're both fighting for bowl eligibility. Both have had some ups and downs this season, but here today to see what they can do to kind of keep the season alive and hopefully have a bowl game to play later in this season.
I tell you what, the Marshall Thundering Herd riding high right now thanks to Carlos Del Rio Wilson, one of his best statistical games of the year against Georgia State last week.
Carlos Del Rio Wilson is definitely a problem for defenses. I mean, he runs the ball well with over 500 yards rushing, and then he has he completes 66% of his passes, has multiple threats and weapons around him. He is definitely a problem for our defense.
On the other side of the ball, if App State's going to contend, Colton Ferris is going to have to continue his consistent play.
Colt has been very consistent. I mean, he's your prototypical linebacker. Again, he's great against the run, as evidenced by his 74 tackles. He's also been very, very good in pass coverage, 2 interceptions. Also put a little pressure on the quarterback with 2 sacks. He's been very, very effective so far this year.
The head coaches of these teams, there you see Tony Gibson in his first year, 5-5 record through the first 10 games. He said that his team is aware of what is on the line here today, and he feels like they are in a good place mentally to finish down the stretch with a competitive nature about them. And that really got started at Georgia State. We'll talk about that more later. Dowell Loggins, the first-year skipper of App State, trying to get his team to finish strong. He said that people will remember in November, and they will remember how you finish the campaign. App State needs wins in both of their final contests to get bowl eligible. Marshall needs just 1 win over their last 2. They will take on the Eagles of Georgia Southern next week to finish it out. You like it when all these teams that have history are playing each other late, Avery Hall. It gets the juices flowing for sure.
It gets the juices flowing, and again, you know, both fan bases need a little spark, need a little energy. And again, you got a great opportunity here today with Appalachian playing Marshall, 2 old rivals. Again, all games have been very, very competitive. All games throughout the years have had postseason implications, as is this game today. So it's always good for these 2 football teams to get together.
You see these fans have turned out, as they often do, for a rivalry football. Cash McVay getting ready to kick it away. That was one of the things Tony Gibson said as well. He said his team started a little slow last week because down at Georgia State, there were enough people to fit inside a station wagon, maybe. This was going to be the atmosphere that he knew his team was going to be able to get up for, because it just means something different when these 2 teams get together. Another matchup between App State and Marshall for the 29th time. We kick it off as the Thundering Herd and Mountaineers will duke it out here in Boone today. Turner Bradshaw with the return up the sideline, and the Marshall Thundering Herd will go to work. Again, thanks to Carlos Del Rio Wilson's effort last week. A lot of eyeballs on this Marshall offense. He was a Manning Award Star of the Week. 321 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, 97 yards on the ground. Dual threats aren't necessarily often in the Sun Belt anymore, but man, he is one that you could build a program around.
And he's going to be one of the keys that Appalachian's going to have to focus on today. And they're going to have to tackle him well in space. They're going to have to make sure that they maintain gap responsibility so that he doesn't find a crease, and cover well so that he doesn't pick him apart from a throwing perspective as he does on this first pass play.
First pass play goes to Floyd Lacey, the junior out of Birmingham, Alabama, 9th in the league in catches, 11th in yards coming into play today. He picks up 11 yards on first down, and Marshall already moving the chains.
You talk about Marshall and, you know, Carlos Del Rio Wilson's prowess as a dual threat quarterback, but he's got a lot of weapons around him, and DeMarcus, you know, as well as Tamarez and Tavion there.
Michael Allen takes the carry for the first run play of the day. He returned after more than a month off against Georgia State. 43 yards rushing, had another 34 in the pass catching game. Picks up 5 on first down. That brings up 2nd and 5 from the 43. Just underway, opening drive. This is where Del Rio Wilson could be so impactful, and the Mountaineers sniff it out. Run play, Kevin Abrams Verwain showed he studied the scout and stayed home on the quarterback.
I tell you what, good job by Verwains again. He's 6'3", 245, so he's a little more mobile, a little more quick twitch. Does a great job of open field tackle there and ensuring that Del Rio Wilson is down and on the ground. And Appalachian's going to have to stop the run today. If they can't stop the run today, they're not going to be effective against this Marshall offense.
3rd and 10 for the Herd. Marshall 12th in the league in third down conversions. Little heat coming to Del Rio Wilson, and that forces him to throw quick. And in front of the feet of Floyd Lacey, Mountaineers get the 3rd down stop. That's been a rarity for the App State defense here over the last few weeks.
Struggled a little bit. Teams have been, converting at a 43% clip on 3rd down, but great job there. Pressure by the 4th down lineman, as well as Brayshawn Littlejohn getting in and putting pressure on the quarterback. Again, he made Del Rio Wilson not step into this throw. He couldn't step into his throw, so he underthrew that football. So good pressure by Appalachian's defensive line and linebacker core.
First look at the leg of Nathan Totten, the redshirt sophomore out of Ashland, Kentucky. One of the best legs in the country from a punting perspective. Pins App State inside their own 20-yard line, where the Mountaineers will take things over. 1st down and 10. Jackson Greer on the catch.
You talk about him being a great kicker. Just now when he punted that ball, it was adjacent to Howard's knob. You had to look to your peripheral vision. You go, man, gosh, that ball is high. I bet the hang time is at well over 4.4 him.
That was a 45-yard punt. That's his average on the year. That's 22nd best in the FBS, 3rd best in the Sun Belt. Had a 63-yarder a couple of weeks ago against James Madison. Special teams could be a thing today, and both teams have some pretty consistent kickers, so we'll see how that all plays out. J.J. Cole getting the start today at quarterback. A.J. Swan listed as out for this contest. Rashad DeBinion takes the first catch of the ball game and takes a 2-yard backward stride as Marshall was right there on the App State ball carrier.
I think that Appalachian is definitely going to have to establish the run today if they're going to be successful. The offensive line has been banged up, but however, these guys have got to figure out a way, whether it's 5-on-5, 5-on-4, they've got to figure out a way to slow this Marshall defensive line down.
DeBinion on the carry to the left side of the line of scrimmage, pulled down by JaVale Gilmore. So DeBinion, it's about 3-4 yards on the play, bring up 3rd down and long. App State on 3rd down has been abysmal the last 3 weeks. 21% on 3rd down on the season, just 33%, 47 of 122.
And you talk about that 3rd down conversion percentage of 33. I think DeBinion or Lewis, either one, has to have 100 yards, and that means you're going to have to give one of them at least 20 touches and allow them to kind of establish some rhythm in this football game.
Cole on 3rd and 8, looking into traffic, and that ball falls incomplete. It was intended for Davion Dozier. Would have been shy of the 1st down, so App State goes 3 and out. And Avery Hall, that was a problem last week in the absolute bludgeoning that JMU put on App State. It was 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. Your defense can only hold for so long.
They can only hold for so long. And think about this, Dave Jackson. Marshall's going to play with a quick tempo, or what they call up tempo. That's going to, they're going to try and snap that football with 20 seconds or less laps off the clock. And that's going to wear down this Appalachian defense, as well as make sure this defense is very, very basic. So Appalachian's offense will have to move the ball today to help this defense. When you talk about complementary football, that's going to have to happen today.
Floyd Lacey with the return from Marshall, and we are headed to our first timeout of this contest. Not a whole lot to speak of just yet. We'll see if these offenses get cranked up here before too long. No score, Marshall and App State here at Kid Brewer Stadium in Boone. Back at Kid Brewer Stadium in Boone, little Sunbelt football for your Saturday afternoon. A gorgeous day here at Kid Brewer Stadium. Rain clouds eroded about 9, 10 o'clock this morning. It was just flat out gross here yesterday. And then all of a sudden the sun's out. You get these late fall afternoons like this in November. You take them all day long. Talking about a change in the temps, maybe a little snow next weekend for Turkey Day.
Wow, that'll be interesting.
Keep your leftovers cold that way. Just stick them outside.
Put them outside. Put your beer outside. You know, it'd be great.
Whatever you got.
Whatever you got, buddy.
Well, I'll tell you what, we haven't had much yet in this football game. 16 yards between the two on their respective opening possessions as we see Antoine Roberts get his first carry of the ball game. Marshall getting a little bit healthier at the running back spot with Michael Allen back. Antoine Roberts has been solid over the last 3 weeks as well, rushing for almost 95 yards a game during that stretch. Picks up 5 yards on first down. Split backs on either side of Del Rio Wilson, who's a run threat as well. Roberts trying to get the corner and cannot get out of bounds, or rather can't get the corner before he's shoved out of bounds by the App State defense. Good run pursuit thus far. App State defending the legs of this Marshall offense pretty well.
Well, good job by the defensive line. I mean, they did a good job of stuffing the offensive line. They were trying to run that zone run play, and then DJ Burks comes up and just makes a great hit and great open field tackle. Authoritative tackle by the free safety there.
Joshawn Barbie in at running back. Del Rio Wilson with some pressure starting to come to him off his back foot. He throws into his own bench, incomplete on 3rd down and 4. So that's twice now on 3rd down that App State's turned Marshall away, not allowing their offense to get any rhythm like they did about this time on the clock against Georgia State last week.
One key for this ASU defense today is the defensive line. You know, they've got to make Del Rio Wilson uncomfortable, and they need to do it with rushing 4 down linemen. They were able to do that. Caleb Sandstrom did a pretty good job of putting pressure on Carlos Del Rio Wilson, forcing him to overthrow that football.
45-yard punt by Totten in his first effort. He pops out and straight up. Not quite a shank maybe, but just off the end of his foot. That'll take a Mountaineer roll to the 33-yard line where App State will have the football when we come back. 10:50 to go, opening quarter. Mountaineers with the ball for the second time today when we come back to Kid Brewer Stadium after this. No score here in Boone. App State Marshall. There you see some of that pageantry, some of those players that have battled in this rivalry. John Settles, number 23, retired over there on the North End Zone facility here at Kid Brewer Stadium. Packed out with folks. One more home game here for App State this year. They'll take on the Red Wolves of Arkansas State next week. I already mentioned that Marshall and Georgia Southern will lock heads. We look at these two programs here and you think about where they've come from in their past, 5 now FCS national championships split between the two of them. Sam Mbake with the catch and an 8-yard pickup on first down. First big positive thing that we've seen in a while, Avery. All these two offenses playing the chess match awfully close to the vest, right?
Well, and it's really good to see Appalachian throwing to Mbake against Barnes. Jaden Barnes is out today. He's a major cog in the wheel that spins here. But somebody's going to have to step up today and take on the production that he normally has. And as you can see, that quick hitch catch by Mbake just opened up the running game, because it makes that linebacker, it makes the safety think a little bit more when they see that play action before coming up and taking on the run game. So that initial pass play was very, very helpful. Penalty
marker down at midfield after the first down run by Trig Lewis. Brandon Kirkland is today's Sun Belt official.
15-yard penalty, still second down.
Referee Brandon Kirkland.
Correction, defense number 9. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
That's one way to get the natives on your side, right? Say that penalty's on the offense. No, I'm sorry, it's on the defense. Well, yeah, now we'll buy you a drink after the game is over with. So Brandon Kirkland making some friends here at Kid Brewer Stadium and tack on penalty yardage after the run. App State in a golden opportunity here.
With the attention span of most fans, he's going to be all right. He'll forget about it until he does something bad again, right?
Lewis is off the right side of Cole in that shotgun. Pass to David Larkins, the tight end out of the backfield, takes on 2 Marshall defenders and leans into his own sideline. Joshua Pierre Lewis, Daquan Smith over there on the boundary, keeping Lewis, or rather keeping Larkins to a 4-yard gain on first down.
Larkins does a good job of getting out in the flats, and I like the fact of utilizing the tight end early in this passing game.
There's Mbake across the middle inside the 25-yard line. He'll be about 3 yards shy of the first down.
Because if you can, David Jackson, if you can run the ball effectively with DeBinion and Lewis, and you can let Larkins and Hamlet, open up that intermediate pass game, and then Dozier and Mbake and those guys open up, get behind the defense. If you can get all of those things going, if you can get the defense to thinking about all of those different threats, you can run the football. And obviously, Appalachian, this drive, is running the football well, but it's because of that horizontal pass game as well as incorporating the tight end into the offensive scheme here.
Jalen Parker on the stop of Trig Lewis. First down, App State inching toward the red zone here at Kid Brewer Stadium as Trig Lewis shakes off a couple of tackles and will get inside the 20-yard line down to about the 18. He actually picked up 2 yards on first down. Again, J.J. Cole getting the start at QB today. A.J. Swan was lost in that JMU game late. Cole came in for the last drive, actually engineered a touchdown, the only touchdown scored against the Dukes last week. Swan listed officially as out. Appalachian quite banged up, especially on the defensive side of the ball. We'll touch more on that here in a moment. Lewis catching the ball out of the backfield inside the 15-yard line. Gang tackled there by a host of thundering herd. Carry on Martin in on the tackle. That'll bring up 3rd down and 4. App State today so far 1 of 2 on 3rd down conversions.
Good job by the offensive line, at least slowing down. See, Marshall has a very athletic and talented defensive line. They're big, they're quick, they're twitchy. Good job by the offensive line protecting Cole. That was a nice pass pattern as well, because again, tight end runs a crossing route, takes the linebacker out of that small area to give Lewis a chance to catch that football and try and get some yardage after the catch.
A whistle and a stoppage. Hold everything here.
You talk about this.
The previous play is under video review for potential targeting.
Wow.
Targeting call potentially, so Brandon Kirkland and crew will take the long run back down the field and check this one out.
You talk about we'll talk a little bit about the offensive line. I mean, that group has really been banged up, and you never want to make an excuse as a football player. Let's see if we can take a look at this target hit here. This is the play where they decided they were going to review. But anyway, the offensive line, again, you don't want to make any excuses, but as a this is probably from a former player versus an analyst sitting here. When you got so many different offensive line units playing, it's hard to get that chemistry. It's hard to kind of get some chemistry going. The last 3 ball games, I was looking at the starting lineup, and you had 3 or 4 different teams or units on the offensive line. And from a protection perspective, that just makes it really, really hard. You know, you got to, you know, one, block very, very good defensive linemen, but also be mindful of the blitz package that teams are trying to throw at you. And those teams know that, you know, you got new teammates playing beside each other. And then in the run game, it just makes it tough, too, because, again, you've got a right guard. And folks, let's be honest. Most of the time, your right guard is your better run blocker. Your right tackle is your better run blocker. But you got your right guard having to shift over to the left tackle when Poindexter went down. It just makes it tough.
Review, there is no targeting on the play. Third down.
So this offensive line is playing decent considering all of the injuries that they've had. The 4 different, both Ramseys go down. You know, you had Poindexter go down.
Yep.
Yeah, and then you had Jackson go down. So this offensive line is kind of patched up, and they're playing their hearts out.
So no targeting on the play. App State with a little time to decide exactly what to dial up on that 3rd down and 4. Tony Gibson, a little defensive-minded guy, will make the proper adjustments as we're ready to go again. App State's best drive of the football game, best drive for either squad for that matter. Little blitz show there by Marshall. Cole will check. Gets the shotgun snap, pressure starting to come, pass out of the hands of Trig Lewis. Tried to catch that and turn at the same time, just couldn't quite secure it. That'll bring up 4th down.
Tell you what, good pressure by Marshall. They had 3 down linemen, brought 3 linebackers, so they had 6 guys coming, 5 guys to block 6 guys. But take a look here. If Cole can just barely take a little bit off of it, there's nobody in front of Trig because the linebackers all blitzed. They were all gone. So that was really a high IQ play by J.J. Cole to try and go to the check down back, just overthrew the back there.
32-yard attempt here for Dominic DeFreitas. He is a perfect 4 of 4 from this distance on the year. Good snap. Hold is down. The kick on its way, and it is through the uprights. Dominic DeFreitas from 32, and the Mountaineers on the board here first at the Rock. Timeout on the field here at Kid Brewer Stadium. Dominic DeFreitas kicks the Mountaineers onto the scoreboard. They lead Marshall 3-0 here in Sunbelt play at the Rock. Kid Brewer Stadium at Boone. 3-0 App State in front. 32-yard field goal for Dominic DeFreitas. You know, you see the flags blowing around there. If it were about 10 degrees colder, you would call it blustery. But instead, it's just a wind-driven Saturday afternoon here at Kid Brewer Stadium. And Dominic DeFreitas had the wind at his back as he banged home that 32-yard field goal. 9-play drive, 52 yards, 3:12 off the clock. Mountaineers on the board, and Avery Hall, that's the kind of offensive rhythm that this team has been seeking for about the last 3 ball games.
You know what? You wish you could eliminate the variability of performance, because that was a pretty effective drive. I know it yielded only 3 points. Could have been a touchdown had Cole made a better throw on that pass to Lewis. But again, good job of incorporating the tight end. Good job of the horizontal passing game. Not much in the vertical passing game, but enough passing to open up running lanes, because the linebackers and the safeties are having to respect the other skill players. So that was a respectable drive. You just wish you didn't have that variability of performance around those drives.
Carlos Del Rio Wilson going to the air for the second completion of his afternoon, and he completes one out on the boundary to DeAndre Tamarez, who had 4 catches, 79 yards. His best game of the season from that perspective against Georgia State last week. Picks up 5 on first down, second and we'll call it a long 4 from the 30-yard line. As Del Rio Wilson has now completed 2 of his first 4 for 19 yards to start this game after a 300-yard performance last week. Got plenty of time in the pocket. Now it starts to collapse. This is where he's dangerous, running down the sideline, but he cannot connect with the receiver right in front. That's the tight end, Toby Payne. Toby Payne has been a long talked about weapon on this offense. He got loose last week for 5 catches, 110 yards. Steve Cotton, the longtime radio voice of the Marshall Thundering Herd, says every week on his talk show they talk about get Toby Payne the ball. They tried to get it to him there on the sideline, couldn't do it.
6'4", 237. He's a pretty good athlete, and he's one of those playmakers we talked about, along with DeAndre Tamarez and Floyd Lacey and those guys. He's a good athlete and has good ball skills in soft hands, and runs his routes pretty well.
Marshall 0 for 2 on 3rd down. They've only got 1 first down this afternoon, and they may have another one there as Floyd Lacey makes the catch right at the line to gain and then lunges forward to just about the 36-yard line. That's good for a Thundering Herd first down. Lacey's going to be that guy, Avery Hall, when you need 3rd and 4. He is the perfect target.
3rd and 4, and he's a perfect target because he's 6 foot tall. Now, he's not very big, 187 pounds, but Del Rio Wilson also put that ball only where Lacey could have caught it, and Lacey did a good job of using his body to shield out the defensive back on that last first down conversion play.
Little tempo from Marshall here as Del Rio Wilson picks up 9 yards on first down.
And Marshall's going to run this tempo, and that's why you know Appalachian's defense has to do a good job of substituting their defensive linemen in this game, because they're going to try and snap the ball every 21 seconds. When I looked at and did a little research this week, they're going to try and speed it up and wear down this Appalachian defensive line, so that late in this ball game they're going to feel like they're going to have some opportunities.
3rd down coming up as Michael Allen took the 1-yard loss. St. Ferrier to him defensively. Let's see if Marshall can convert for the 2nd time on the drive. Del Rio Wilson gets a low snap, steps up in the pocket, runs out of trouble, has the first down himself, twisting his way into Mountaineer territory. And Marshall will move the chains thanks to the skates of Carlos Del Rio Wilson. He said last week, he went back to Atlanta as Georgia State was the host of their game with Marshall last week. That's where Carlos Del Rio Wilson grew up, played for a couple different high schools there. They said, hey, did you want to have that kind of performance, kind of gritty second half, led him to victory? He said, no, I wanted to blow him out. This guy has got one speed, and that is fast when it comes to how he wants to direct this Marshall offense. We're seeing a little bit more of that tempo on this drive. Del Rio Wilson slides one into Lacey's hands at the 20-yard line. They'll call it a catch. For now, at least. There's a flag on the field back at the line of scrimmage.
Holding. Offense number 57.
That'll negate
10-yard
the nifty catch by Floyd Lacey.
Prior to knowing about that holding, I was going to say that, Appalachian's defensive line, particularly the front 4, Rondo Porter, Dylan Manuel, Aldine, Aiden Benton, and Kevin Abrams-Verwam had done a good job of putting pressure on Carlos Del Rio Wilson. He just made a pretty good throw, but it was real clear that there was probably a hole there because they were getting after it.
So 1st and 20 after the penalty, back into Marshall territory. Del Rio Wilson's ball is through the hands of a receiver and picked. Interception on the sideline. Emory Floyd comes down with his first pick of the year at just the right time. Mountaineers with the ball near midfield.
Emory Floyd has been a very consistent player. When you look at this defense, there are only 4 players that have started every game. Ferris, Floyd, and then another cornerback. But again, good pressure by the defensive line. A tip ball there. Floyd does a good job of just being in the right place at the right time. But good pressure by Appalachian State's defensive line.
That ball intended for Toby Payne, the tight end, who's a downfield threat. It was a good target, just went right through his hands, and Floyd was there to make the catch. Marshall actually one of the top teams in the nation in terms of turnover margin. They were +9 entering play today. So they give up the first one. Here's Trig Lewis on 1st down, carrying a pile of Marshall tacklers with him as he crosses midfield and into Marshall territory. Kerryon Martin on the stop.
Again, you know, the average fan may say, what, 4 yards? I think it's, oh, that was 5 yards. But that was a very, very productive play. Good push by the offensive line. A good run, good effort after initial contact by Lewis.
Play action look. Pass over toward the Mountaineer boundary, over the top of Dalton Stroman. That'll bring up 3rd down at about 5. Stroman will get more run today, as Avery mentioned. Jaden Barnes listed as out, dinged up last week. The Mountaineers also without Dupa Coleman, who's been out for quite some time now, a few weeks. So Sam Mbake will get a little bit more action at the slot. Stroman, Alex Sanchez, even Jackson Greer will get more time as App State tries to fill out the wide receiver tree. 3rd down and 5. Cole underneath. Mbake has the catch and got stopped shy of the marker by Daytwan Smith. That was a tackle about a yard short of the 1st down, and that rocked Sam Mbake. Took his helmet right off his head.
Mbake and those guys, Stroman, Dozier, they're going to have
timeout for a deep offensive injury.
It looks like Mbake got the wind knocked out of him there. He got hit pretty hard there. But Mbake, Dozier, Stroman, those guys are going to have a really good ball game. Marshall, as you know, DJ, Rod Smith, I'm sorry, not Rod Smith, he's the offensive coordinator, but their defensive coordinator does a good job of getting their guys flying to the football, and they try and create havoc, turnovers, and force offenses into mistakes. And if Appalachian's run game is going to have some success because of the athleticism on Marshall's defensive line, our receivers are going to have to stretch the field. Our tight ends are going to have to help with that intermediate passing game to make these linebackers, to put the linebackers and safeties in conflict at times so that they won't come up and put 7, 8, 9 men in the box.
So Mbake jogging off the field. Again, it looks like, as Avery mentioned, he got the wind knocked out of him. Shannon Morrison, the defensive coordinator for Marshall, he played back when you played in this rivalry back in the early 90s. He's a 94 grad of Marshall, was on the national championship team back in 92. He's been back and forth to Marshall. He's in his 4th stint as a coach for the Thundering Herd. Once you come to Huntington, you can't keep from going back.
He does a good job with that defense. They're physical, they're athletic. They've got some Jimmies and the Joes on that defensive front that could probably play a lot of different places. As I talk about them, again, they're putting a lot of pressure on Cole, but they're very, very athletic. They're very, very athletic. They're very, very physical. As you mentioned, he played at Marshall. He played on that national championship team, if I'm not mistaken. So he knows what success looks like.
There's a flag down on the play at the 41. For right now, that's App State failing to convert on 4th and 1.
Intentional grounding.
Intentional grounding to call on.
Number 17.
J.J. Cole.
He lost it down at the spot of the foul. 1st down for Marshall.
And so Marshall, after turning the ball over, gets their defensive wits about them and forces App State into a position on 4th and 1 to scramble. Cole threw the ball away at the last second, and now Marshall with excellent field position at the 41-yard line. 1st down and 10 with 3:50 to go here in the opening quarter. trying to erase a 3-0 deficit. Best field position of the game for the Thundering Herd. Let's see what Carlos Del Rio Wilson will do with it.
Now, you know, on that last play, Appalachian gifted Marshall that opportunity.
Del Rio Wilson on the near sideline, and as he's wrestled out of bounds, DJ Burks on the tackle as Del Rio Wilson picks up 9 on first down.
Again, you're tough to go for it on 4th and 1 and run a pass play, and then you turn it over deep in your own territory. That's not high IQ football there.
Jashawn Barbie with his first carry of the day has the first down inside the 30, and Marshall's got a little bit of momentum for the first time today from an offensive standpoint. That's 3 running backs. If you want to count Del Rio Wilson, that's 4 different rushers in the ball game for Marshall, as Barbie gets the carry again on first down and runs right into that front wall of the App State defense. Again, the Mountaineers a little thin on the defensive side, mostly in the secondary. Rondo Porter was a game-time decision. He was able to play, but Juan Burchell and Dylan Haas out of the corner and safety slots respectively are out. So App State thin in the defensive secondary, and that has also been an area of the field that they have been attacked in quite a bit this year. So we'll see if Marshall game plans that as time goes on. Jashawn Barbie is the setback toward the top of Del Rio Wilson in the shotgun on 2nd and 8. Plenty of time to throw, going for that back pylon. He had his man Lacey. They got tripped up in pursuit. No flag on the play as Elijah McCantos brought him down just over the goal line. The pass sailed over both of their heads.
Great no call. Again, those guys, their feet got tangled. I'm sure the Marshall fans are saying, gosh, that's pass interference, but decent pressure, again, on the quarterback, forces Del Rio Wilson to overthrow the football. I tell you, not only is Appalachian State's defensive line getting good pressure, but they're staying in their gap responsibility, because Rio Wilson is looking for one guy to get out of his gap so he can hit that gap and gash him for a 10, 15-yard run.
That's Norton in motion toward the top of your screen. Del Rio Wilson flushed out of the pocket. He'll let one go. That's over to the tight end Payne, who's near the first down marker inside the 20-yard line. He got to the 17. And that's going to be close. That's going to be enough by about a half a yard for the first down. So credit Payne coming back after the interception with a key 3rd down catch, keeping the drive alive for Marshall.
Payne does a good job of creating the big numbers there for Wilson, Del Rio Wilson, to put that ball in there. Does a good job of running after the catch as well.
9-yard pickup on first down. That brings up 1st and 10 inside the red zone. Marshall 3 for 3 in the red zone last week. Del Rio Wilson across the middle. That ball sails incomplete, intended for Lacey. There is a flag on the play at the 10.
Wow, looks like they got a little physical before the ball got there, but I'd love to see that replay, because it looked as if both were going for the ball.
Ineligible player downfield. Offense. Number 74. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Tyler McDuffie leaked out a little early there.
That's a great call. I was thinking it was going to be pass interference, and I'm looking at that and I'm going, man, they were both going for the ball here, if you see this, but again, that was a legal man downfield.
You know, one thing that Tony Gibson said about App State's corners and defensive backfield in general, he said, you know, they're going to come up to the line of scrimmage and be physical. You talked about physical play there near the line of scrimmage. He said these guys will get up in your face right off the line of scrimmage, and his team needed to defend the perimeter well from that perspective. Make sure that App State couldn't neutralize their receiving targets. A little fake toss over to the sideline. Good catch. Tamaraz just inside the 5-yard line, popped out at the 4. That's good for a 1st and goal situation for the Thundering Herd.
You know, that's where the zone coverage will hurt this Mountaineer defense, because a guy like Tamaraz will find a soft spot in the zone. But you can't play man-to-man even in this area, because Del Rio Wilson's legs will hurt you if your defensive backs are turned running with a wide receiver. 1st and goal, handoff, Jashawn Barbie, and he's in for the touchdown. And the Thundering Herd thunder their way ahead of App State as Barbie scores for the 5th time this year. Again, the Thundering Herd, they were gifted this opportunity because they got the ball, I think, DJ, around the 45 due to Appalachian going for it on 4th and 1, which I scratched my head on a little bit, particularly with the play selection of play call. But they were gifted this drive, and they took advantage of a short field. Lorcan Quinn on for the PAT. That was an 8-play drive, 41 yards. The official tail of the tape.
Win 34 of 35 on PATs. He was banging home 65-yard field goal tries in pregame warmups. He's got one of the biggest legs of the year. The freshman from Ireland connects, and Marshall on the board here as they finish off the touchdown drive at Avery Hall. You go back to the 4th and 1 again, and it's become somewhat predictable that in those short yardage situations, App State's going to pass way more than they're going to lean on their run game that's been fairly productive today.
And I think that's a grave mistake. I mean, again, and I guess that's a harsh word to use, but I think that's not a smart thing to do, because if you've got a big back in Debinion, which we've really not seen him much today, and then Lewis, who can get you 1 yard. I know you've got a banged-up offensive line, but sometimes you have to trust, you know, those guys, and sometimes you have to say, look, man, man up. I mean, you know, men do what they have to do. Boys do what they want to do. You need to man up and go knock some folks off the ball. And you know, I don't think I would have thrown it in that situation. But again, they don't pay us the big bucks, you know, for us to make those decisions. But that was costly, because again, it gave Marshall that short field.
Jakari Lewis averaging just under 5 yards per carry. App State's rushing total only at 7 yards, but 14 of those yards went away on J.J. Cole's intentional grounding play, if you will. So 1:20 to go here in the quarter. 7-3 Marshall on top. The Herd now 94 yards of offense, and they really look a little bit more like themselves. A similar pattern to last week. A little slow start against Georgia State before they were able to get things cranked up on their way to a 30-18 win over the Panthers. 1st and 10 App State. J.J. Cole with Trig Lewis in the backfield. Lewis takes off left side, rolls right through Darrell Sweeting, the cornerback, picking up 7, almost 8 yards on 1st down.
Good run by Lewis. Again, that's Marshall, you know, probably knew that was coming, so really good job by the offensive line, because they couldn't stop it, but good production there.
There's the 7th carry of the game for Lewis already. He's had 10 or more carries in each of the last 3 games, and this one moves the chains for App State. Their 4th first down of the opening period of the game.
You know, Marshall has this quick tempo offense, and with that, I preface that because Appalachian's only going to have about 10 to 11 possessions, and they're going to have to score at least 25 to 30 points to win this football game, I believe. So they're going to have to be more effective on each drive. But that's a good run, a good production by J.J. Cole. He's 6'7", and he looks every bit of it when he's running the football, but showing a
little Carlos Del Rio Wilson.
Yeah,
look,
he can put his foot in the ground and spin and make people miss.
Cole had a 6-yard touchdown run earlier this year against Oregon State here at the Rock, showcasing that running ability out of the QB spot, as Lewis again carries off the left side and will stretch the chains for the 1st down into Marshall territory. That is a one-dimensional thing. When you bring A.J. Swan in at the QB position, and again, he's out for this game, he has not been as effective as a runner. That is one element that J.J. Cole brings into play that we'll see materialize throughout the rest of it. We have reached the end of quarter number 1 here at Kidd Brewer Stadium. 7-3, Marshall on top of App State, as we bring you Sunbelt football from the Rock here in Boone. Chill bumps here at Kid Brewer Stadium as the 2005 National Champion Mountaineers recognized on the video board here at the quarter break. 20 years since that first of 3 consecutive national championships, and a good number of these guys came back. They brought their families along. They were at the basketball game last night. They were the kings of the tailgate here today, and I'm sure the celebration will continue. We will actually be joined by Richie Williams at halftime, so stick around for that. That will, I'm sure, be fun. But Avery Hall, you think back to what that group started, and coming off of a 6-win season the year before, they won every game at home, lost every one on the road. They figured out a way to get that thing rolling, and App State really hasn't seen too much decline since that point 20 years ago.
They faced a lot of adversity in 2004. I mean, you know, they took a similar beating by Georgia Southern as JMU did to this Appalachian State football team last Saturday. But in 2005, they flipped the switch. They were very dominant. Again, as I look down at that group, I see daddies, I see husbands, I see some guys that have gained weight. But
see some gray hair.
Gray hair, but one thing you're going to always call them, champions. And that's kind of, that group was a blue-collar, hard-working, physical group.
Here's Trig Lewis trying to do his best Kevin Richardson impression as he carries the football inside the Marshall 43. You know, one of the things that I look forward to talking to Richie Williams about, and speaking of Marshall, he got his first start for App State against the Thundering Herd up in Huntington.
And Richie was just such a dynamic player. I mean, he passed for over 2,800 yards that year, completed 62% of his passes. And, I mean, you know, Kevin Richardson was our leading receiver at the running back position. Plus, he had almost close to 1,000 yards. So that was just a dominant offensive team. But they had a good leader, in Richie Williams. He led and he made good decisions. He had a good, strong arm. And then, you know, you think about the defense, that defense there. I mean, they were dominant. 40 sacks. 29 turnovers, held teams to below 320 yards, just a dominant football team.
App State trying to dominate on this drive. Here's Trig Lewis again. He like took your cue when you were talking about Kevin Richardson catching passes out of the backfield. Lewis had a nice catch over on the sideline, becoming a little bit more featured now. 10 carries in the game, surpassing the 50-yard mark already. Lewis going for more than 5 yards a clip. We'll see if App State leans on the running attack. It's kind of back in the saddle, so to speak, after only 1 yard rushing against James Madison last week. Here goes Lewis, sidestepping tacklers, twisting inside the red zone. And the Mountaineers have their first big chunk play from an offensive standpoint against this Marshall squad on the ground.
I tell you what, kudos to the offensive line. Again, they're playing their tails off. They're working hard. They're providing good angles, good blocking, you know, inside with the 3 technique and the interior guys. Again, good vision by Lewis on that run as well.
Dozier in motion. It's Lewis underneath, has another hole, and he'll take it to the house. Touchdown, black and gold. Trig Lewis finishes off the drive, and the Mountaineers jump back ahead.
I tell you what, Marshall has a big defensive line. 6'4", 303, 6'3", 336. And then right there in the middle, but Appalachian, Will Flowers, Griffin Scroggs, Shamar Jackson, Caden Sweat, Jaden Ramsey, they dominated. They wanted it on that particular drive, and they played like it. They knocked those guys off the ball. They were physical, and Lewis was the beneficiary.
Marshall came in with the 3rd best rush defense in the Sun Belt. It sure didn't look like it. Now App State going with a little trickery here, going for some look. A little 2-point conversion try. I'm not exactly sure what that design is, but, you know, goes for naught as App State tries some trickeration here with Ian Ratliff throwing a pass on a PAT. We got a timeout on the field, 9-7. We got a baseball score here at the Rock. App State on top of Marshall here in Sun Belt play in Britain. Back at Kid Brewer Stadium, the Rock. 9-7, App State leads. 9-play, 75-yard methodical drive, heavy running. 11 carries now, 80 yards on the day for Jakari Trigg-Lewis, including the 18-yard touchdown run. Got the natives excited here. The Bibbed Boonies still with the touchdown arms up in the air. App State went for kind of a bizarre-looking PAT try that turned into a two-point conversion attempt. Ian Ratliff's pass sailed out of the back of the end zone. And so we have this 9-7 score. But other than that, Avery Hall, that was the drive of the day for App State.
That was a great drive, a great methodical drive. You had the offensive line playing at a level that you would like to see them play at. Trigg-Lewis did a good job, not only with his vision and his balance, but just running tough in between the tackles. Now, the two-point conversion, I don't know what we were trying to do, and I don't know what data analytics said to do to run that particular play and go for two, but I think I'd rather be up 10-7 than try and go for an 11-7 lead and not get it.
At least it's not 6-7. First down and 10. All at the 25-yard line. Carlos Del Rio Wilson will try to put the herd back in the driver's seat, and he'll hand off to Joshawn Barbie, who's getting a little bit more run at the running back spot. Redshirt junior out of McNeese. Started week 2 and 3. Had a pair of touchdowns in an overtime win over Texas State. As the first down carry as Marshall charges toward midfield. Pass out of the backfield now goes to Barbie over on the sideline. He is wrapped up over there by Emory Floyd, who had the interception earlier this afternoon.
Barbie, he's 5'9", 190, so he's a powerful little guy, but he's quick and he operates well in space. So really, I mean, you hate to see him make that catch, but that was really a good tackle by Floyd on that far sideline.
6-yard gain for Barbie. A little pressure for Del Rio Wilson. Finds Lacey. He's underneath and he's off to the races. Getting above the numbers 30. He's got a convoy leading him down the sideline. Finally run out of bounds at the 15-yard line. Talk about Floyd Lacey putting the Jets into motion. A little slant pass that goes for quite a bit as now Marshall is in the red zone once again.
That play, Marshall did a good job of taking advantage of the pressure that Appalachian's defensive line has been putting on the quarterback. They felt that intensity and that pressure, so they allowed them to go upfield, and Lacey just got behind on that little swing, flare-out pass. That was just a good play call by Marshall.
Here's Del Rio Wilson up the middle, gets out of a tackle and into the end zone. Touchdown, Marshall. Boy, it didn't take the herd long to answer the bell, and they have rung it loud here at the Rock as Del Rio Wilson finishes off a 4-play, 75-yard drive in the end zone. You
give up one explosive play to Lacey, and then you got a quarterback who's definitely a problem because he's a dual-threat quarterback. And if you take a look here again, he knows he's going to run this football. He has good blocking. He sees a seam there, and he knows what to do with it when he sees real estate. Just good blocking up front by Marshall. Appalachian State's defensive line. That one play got out of their gap. You get out of your gap, and you're not aligned from the first level to the second level. Rio Wilson will make you pay.
Lorcan Quinn's PAT is good. We've got a timeout on the field, 14-9. Back and forth we go between the Thundering Herd and the Mountaineers. It's Marshall on top at the Rock here in Boone. In Boone, David Jackson, Avery Hall, App State, Marshall. Alums of both of these programs know that feeling in the pit of your stomach when these two teams meet. They've got a back and forth affair thus far. We wondered how Marshall would answer after App State went down the field on a methodical run-heavy drive, and Marshall said, we can do that too, it just takes us half as many plays. 4 plays, 75 yards, $130 off the clock. The one big play to Floyd Lacey turns into a really picture-perfect Marshall offensive answer.
Marshall has a lot more of those plays left in their bag of tricks. That's why, you know, we talked earlier about the keys to the game for the AS defense. You got to tackle well. So, you know, you got to make sure you don't give those guys yardage after the catch. And you make sure you don't give Del Rio Wilson too many lanes. And when he does have a lane, you got to bring his tail down immediately. So they've got a lot of tricks in their bag, and this game is far from over, I'm telling you.
Here's Lewis. Got into the secondary there briefly. 7-yard pickup on first down for Jakari Lewis, who's got 12 carries now. Got 87 yards on the day. That 18-yard touchdown. App State rushed for 30 times in each of their first 7 games. They've only averaged 18 carries a game over their last 3. They look a little bit more like the first half of the season running attack. Here to start this one, here's Cole on second down and short. He throws toward the near boundary, incomplete. Good protection there and coverage by Boogie Trotter, who comes into play as one of the top takeaway men in the country. 5 interceptions, paces the nation. He's got a fumble recovery with that as well. And he's a guy that deals with the fact that he's not targeted a whole lot, but boy, when they throw it to his side, he finds a way to get there. So they'll bring up 3rd down and 5.
It's not smart to throw to the side, but he also did a good job of using the sideline as a 12th defender to kind of squeeze the receiver out of bounds. Marshall also got good pressure on Cole on that play.
Cole on 3rd and 5, dancing, trying to elude some pressure now as he throws off his back foot, and that ball's incomplete. Intended for Dozier, would have had the first down gain at the 35, so after the Marshall touchdown, App State goes 3 and out. Now the Herd with a chance to seize momentum here midway through the second quarter.
And this is where Marshall's very dangerous. Again, 3 and out. Again, you know, they've kept the tempo high on the offensive side of the ball. The defense eventually is going to, you know, have a bunch of plays and get wore down. And again, that's just what they really want to do. So this is where Marshall can be really, really dangerous. And this is where Appalachian's defense has to come in and apply the pressure versus allowing the pressure to be applied to them.
Jalen Marshall was on the coverage there. That punt into the wind. And Ian Ratliff will see that sail out of bounds. Marshall with good field position here with 10:48 to go in the second quarter. We talked about the wind that App State's Dominic DeFreitas actually kicked with in his opening field goal. That wind has been pretty stiff. We saw a rare kind of shank look by Nathan Totten, and it could be just as much about the gale inside Kid Brewer Stadium as anything. So, Marshall, the beneficiary of what goes down in the books, is a 25-yard punt by Ian Ratliff. They have the football just shy of midfield, leading 14-9. Del Rio Wilson puts that ball in the hands of Allen. And the Greenville, North Carolina native carries across midfield, about a 6-yard pickup on first down. Again, an embarrassment of riches at the running back spot. 4 backs, all productive today. That makes things a little easier for Rod Smith from a workforce standpoint, if you will, at this stage of the game and the season. You know, guys are banged up. It's good to have fresh legs in the run game. Lacey goes in motion. Handoff fake to Allen. It's Lacey out of the backfield. Catch and release down the sideline. Has the first down as he's nearly horse-collared out of bounds at the 40.
Rod Smith, he's lucky. He's got 4 good backs, and then he's got a bunch of good receivers. And those receivers are all small in nature, other than Lacey. Lacey's 6 foot, but there are other guys around 5'11", you know, 190, 5'11", 175. And they're all just good once they get the football in their hands. And it just puts a lot of pressure on this Appalachian defense to try and cover all of those guys.
Del Rio Wilson with the toss fake. Tried to step up and run. It gets smothered at the 39-yard line. App State with Dylan Manuel there in pursuit. Flag comes out of the pile. There were a little whisperings between the two teams.
Carlos Del Rio Wilson is upset about something. You know, I thought it was a clean tackle. I didn't see any improprieties in there, but we'll see.
After the play, unnecessary roughness, defense number 9, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Dylan Manuel, the infractor, and I tell you what, Dow Loggins is as mad as I've seen him all year.
Well, he knows that you can't give this Marshall offense anything extra. A dead ball foul, the guy's down. You see here, he's down. Why push his head in the ground? Okay, I see what he just did. He pushed his head into the ground. Why? If you're a tough guy, be tough in between the whistles. Don't do anything after the whistle to prove you're a tough guy. Man up and knock, you know, kind of get penetration, get back, get a tackle for a loss or a sack, and that's how you show folks you're tough.
Handoff goes to Antoine Roberts, getting the corner now back up the middle of the grain to the 5-yard line. Great pivot move there by Antoine Roberts. The redshirt senior from Nashville has Marshall inside the red zone, inside the 5-yard line for that matter. First and goal.
Marshall again with this up-tempo offense. It just wears you down eventually. Great penetration there. A good tackle.
St. Farrar once again on the attempted run play by Carlos Del Rio Wilson. Give him a yard, call it second and goal from the 4.
That was good penetration by the defensive line. I don't know if I got that number there, but great penetration, good hit there. Yeah, you don't need any dead ball fouls, any stupid penalties to kind of give a team that's capable of scoring with just their weapons and just with their Jimmies and Joes. You definitely don't want to gift them anything.
Antoine Roberts off the top of your screen. Protection back for Del Rio Wilson. Play clock down to 3, 2, 1. And Marshall will call a timeout, I would assume here.
Timeout. Marshall.
The Thundering Herd will do just that.
30-second timeout.
30-second timeout with 8:16 to go
game clock.
here in the second quarter. Tough real estate. It begins to get a little bit more difficult when you've got an offense that's got so much motion and movement within the receiving core to operate in short yardage, yet Marshall has really picked up on the running attack. They're over 100 yards rushing for the day as a team now, 107. They're averaging better than 6 yards every time they touch the football on the ground.
Well, and you know, Rod Smith, the offensive coordinator, he wants to run the football. He came to Marshall this year from Jacksonville State, where he was coaching as an OC under Rich Rodriguez from 2023 to 2024. And last year, I mean, they averaged 251 yards per game rushing at Jacksonville State. So he really wants to run the football. He's lucky that he has a dual-threat quarterback that can run and throw. But if he had his druthers, he'd run the football.
Second and goal, fake to Lacey on the end around. It's Del Rio Wilson into the end zone for the touchdown. Great play fake. And Carlos Del Rio Wilson, CDRW, into the pay dirt. And Marshall stretched the lead to 20-9.
CDRW sounds like a stock, and if you're buying stock, you'd have to buy his stock.
I was going to say an accounting firm, maybe?
Yeah, but he you know, really, a little motion and a little eye candy for the defense. So obviously, with the motion, the linebackers take that one little step towards the left to try and be in better position with the motion. That's all that CDRW needs to get into the end zone. That one step away, and he's going in opposite direction into the end zone.
After App State took the lead, it's Marshall with back-to-back touchdowns on consecutive drives to take a 21-9 lead here at Kidd Brewer's Stadium. Midway through the second, Marshall trying to pull away. We're back to the Rock right after this. Back at Kid Brewer Stadium, Marshall flexing some muscle. How about the last 10 plays? They have amassed 130 yards and put 2 touchdowns on the board after App State took a brief 9-7 lead. So Marshall now up 21-9, 209 yards of total offense, 111 on the ground. Carlos Del Rio Wilson getting into the act. He scores from 4 yards out. And Marshall beginning to look like that offensive juggernaut. App State needs not only an answer, but a sustained drive to get their defense off the field. This was the tipping point last week against James Madison, where you just felt like a boxer had somebody up against the ropes. Just time of possession, which ended up being a massive benefit to JMU. But it was one of those situations you can't keep the defense out there but so long before they start giving up chunk plays. We've seen that on the last couple of drives.
Well, and Appalachian really needs to respond and come out and have a sustained drive and at least try and put some points on the board. Be neat to get a touchdown, but at least get a sustained drive and get points on the board. What you don't want, if you're this Appalachian State football team, is for this offense to become one-dimensional. And what I mean by that is having to pass to try and stay in this football game. You know, the Appalachian offense has given up 25 sacks this year so far, and this Marshall defense has 22 sacks. So, and they're going to be pretty aggressive regardless of the situational position of the game, but you really don't want them focused on just having to rush the passer, trying to put pressure on Cole.
4-yard pickup for Trig Lewis. Tayshawn Jeter out of Winston-Salem, Reynolds High School grad, on the tackle from Marshall. 2nd down and 6. And Mbake back in the game. He goes in motion. Handoff to Lewis. And he is gang tackled in the pile. Paul Hudson III out of the defensive end spot wins the race to him. Pickup of 1 brings up 2nd down. So check that 3rd down and 6. Marshall looking a little bit more like that stout run defense. I told you they were 3rd best in the Sun Belt. App State gashed them on one drive. They've been a little bit more pressure-packed since. Underneath Mbake trying to turn the corner and move the chains. He falls about a yard shy of the 1st down. If the ball was where his feet were, he moves the chains, but instead he kind of had that momentum leaning the other direction, and App State will have a decision to make here on 4th and 1.
That's when you want Mbake to just turn up the field and get as much as he can. He probably gets the 1st down if he doesn't dance a little bit there. And I'm not besmirching the young man, but you just turn that up, get as much as you can, get the 1st down, and go from there. Tough play call there.
Here's Ratliff to punt the football away. Lacey back. Ratliff will try to keep it a little lower. This time a driving kick after the 25-yarder last time. Lacey calls fair catch. And we'll have that football inside the 20. They'll mark him at the 18 with 6:30 to go. So not the sustained drive that App State was looking for, but better field position flipping that time by Ian Ratliff, keeping that ball a bit lower and pinning Marshall back inside their own 20.
So do you keep them pinned? That's going to be the key. If you can keep them pinned, you can give the offense better field position. It'll be critical for the ASU defense to, one, stop the run, put a plug in the run game, because again, they've been gashing some run game. Now, they did have that one explosive play by Lacey, but right now they're Marshall's offensive line's controlling the defensive line, and Del Rio Wilson and Deshaun Barbie and Michael Allen and Antoine Roberts, those guys are just kind of having a field day right now.
Here's Barbie on the run play. I checked that. That's actually Zion Turner at the QB spot. Turner's first look of the day.
Personal foul, face mask on the defense, number 33. 15-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
Face mask against App State. And Rondo Porter got saddled with that one. Looking over at the sideline to see if we notice anything going on with Del Rio Wilson. He is standing on the sideline with his helmet on, but this is Zion Turner's drive. Redshirt junior out of Miami. He was a QB for Rod Smith at Jacksonville State, played in 1 game. He was at UConn in 23, 1,400 yards there, and now App State peeling back the run for the first time in a few series. Michael Allen drifted back there by that App State pressure up front. Rondo Porter gets in on the action.
Rondo Porter showing a little pride He got called for the face mask, cost his team 15 yards, and I like his response. He's pissed, and he says, I'm going to get some penetration, and clogs up the hole there. Not only gets a nice tackle for a loss there.
Del Rio Wilson back at the QB spot. He's got twin receivers each way. 2nd and 16, a little trickier play call. They'll bring the redshirt senior back. Del Rio Wilson with 50 yards already. He's going to tack on a few more here as he busts out of a tackle up to the 42-yard line. Pickup of 11 yards. And he gets Marshall a little closer. 3rd down and manageable here. 3rd down and 8. Del Rio Wilson needed 65 yards rushing today to become the best, to have the best rushing tally ever by a Marshall quarterback in a single season. He did 65 yards for that mark. He's sitting on 58 right now.
Well, you know, he's their leading rusher. I mean, you look at their running back room there, and they have a running back by committee, but he's the leading rusher coming into this football game.
3rd and 8, lots of time underneath. Lacey on the catch, and he's rocked. He is rocked by DJ Burks, and the Mountaineers get the stop.
Now DJ Burks, that's how you come up from a free safety position. Again, it's pretty clear. Film study shows exactly what they're going to do on that play. He knows it. He comes up and makes a physical, authoritative tackle. That's how you come up and play football.
So Burks with the stop. App State gets a defensive breather, if you will, as Nathan Totten comes on to punt the football away. Totten 2 punts, an average of 38.5, as long as 45 on the day. App State with Jackson Greer back deep to return. Greer retreating as that ball will sail out of the back of the end zone. The wind is again with that direction, and Totten with a big leg couldn't corral it. There is a flag down around the 43-yard line.
Totten will play on Sundays, my friend.
Hey, so will Lorcan Quinn. Lorcan Quinn at the place kicking spot, just as powerful.
Kicking team, more than 4 players in the backfield. That 5-yard penalty will be added to the end of the kick. 1st down.
Mountaineers will get a little extra penalty yard. Go back to Lorcan Quinn for a second. We mentioned that he's out of Ireland originally. He said his first time with an American football team was in August of this year. He played Gaelic football and had never been involved in camp before. He's like, they kept talking about camp. I don't know what camp is. He thought like maybe they were camping. But instead he got a chance to really showcase what he was able to bring. A freshman kicker that was the #1 rated kicker out of high school, or rather coming into his freshman season by the Cole kicking camp. So that special teams unit, whether it's punting or place kicking, is a strength for Marshall, not only this year, but moving forward. Here's Cole with a ton of time to throw. He checks down underneath and will pick up about 6 yards on 1st down. That's Trig Lewis out of the backfield.
I tell you, smart decision by J.J. Cole. He really wanted to go deep. He was kind of eyeing the receiver running a go route, but saw that he was well covered, had a safety coming over top, and that was a good decision to check down on that throw to Lewis on that last play.
App State tried to go back to the run game with Lewis, but Javay Gilmore, the redshirt junior transfer out of Mississippi State, read that one perfectly. No gain on the play. That'll bring up 3rd down and 4. App State today on 3rd down conversions, just 1 of 6. That continues a theme. Cole trying to get a little bit of movement. Now he checks into a new play as we see the play clock approach 10. Cole gets the snap with time. Heaves one down the sideline, and that ball's caught. Dozier goes up and gets it in double coverage. 1st down grab for App State. Cam Smith there. Nothing he could do about that.
Man, that was a gutsy throw and a great catch. And it started with good protection up front. They showed 6 guys rushing. They only rushed 3. So the middle was clogged with those linebackers that dropped back in pressure. So really good decision by Cole to go to that outside deep out route. And that was a gutsy throw and a good catch.
See Dozier's profile beginning to expand a little bit, especially with some of the injuries that App State's had on the offensive side of the ball. Lewis carries to the 41-yard line. And with Jaden Barnes out, Dozier is that throw me the ball guy. He's the one that wants the possession, had the only touchdown last week against James Madison, a 19-yard grab from J.J. Cole. Here's Cole on the pass fake. It's a run play for Lewis inside the 40 to the 39-yard line, about a yard shy of the 1st down.
You talk about Dozier kind of, taking up the slack. Jaden Barnes, he's out today, but he's the guy who can help you in the vertical passing game as well as the horizontal passing game. You're looking at Dozier, he's the guy who can go, he's averaging 18 yards per catch. So he's the guy that can get behind the defense. He's the guy who can stretch the defense, but he's having to adjust and make those intermediate catches as well.
We've hit the 2-minute timeout here at Kid Brewer Stadium. Mountaineers on the drive. Can they get points before halftime? We'll see when we come back to the Rock right after this. Back at Kid Brewer Stadium, a perfect day for college football here in the mountains of Northwest North Carolina. 2 minutes left here in this second quarter. App State on the drive. They're inside the 40 of Marshall. 3rd down and 1, trying to sustain a drive. This is the 6th play of said drive, and a flag flies on the ready for play as Trig Lewis had a gain which would have moved the chains, and it looks like a false start instead. Not the recipe for 3rd down and 1 success.
Well, and that's what's hurting this Appalachian offense. You're in a situation where it's 3rd and 1, and now you got a legal procedure. Now it's 3rd and 6. Put a tougher play call. Obviously, it would be easier for the 3rd and 1 versus 3rd and 6. You got to now go to your playbook and pull something, that's going to get you 7 or 8 yards. It just makes for a tougher play call on 3rd and 6 versus 3rd and 1.
Line to gain is the 38. Snap comes, Cole underneath. The catch made by Mbake. That's going to be close, but I think a yard shy of the 1st down. Mbake spun down at the 39-yard line. Let's see.
DJ, if they are short, I do think they're going to have to go for it. And let me tell you why. I thought it was a pretty decent route. You got trips to the wide side of the field. Your inside receiver goes out, rubs the defensive back. The middle receiver comes in. Great catch. But you got to get to the 1st down marker. But you got to go for it if they didn't get it.
4th and 1 is the call. Mbake was indeed a yard short. Play clock rolling. Game clock rolling. Clock inside 5 seconds now. App State's going to let it roll down and call a timeout. They have 2 remaining, so they will now have 1 to go.
Timeout.
1:15 to play in the half.
Appalachian State, that is their 1st of the half.
You look at the field goal range of Dominic DeFreitas, 49 yards is his long. He would be kicking into the wind on this end of the field.
But when you're down 21-9, you know, the data analytics would say, you know, put points on the board. I don't know. Hell, the data analytics says so much now. People rely on data.
Well, this would be a monster field goal.
But I would say you'd have to go for it and try and get 7 in the next minute and 15 seconds, or at least get closer to make it a higher probability field goal attempt. But I think you got to go for it on 4th and 1 here. And the way the offensive line's been playing, I mean, you got a high probability of getting the first down if you go for it here.
So the offense back out. This would be a 50-plus yard field goal for DeFreitas. So really the only move is either a pooch punt or try to move it on 4th and 1. Let's see how App State tries to do it. They've got offset tight ends underneath. Man in motion is Mbake. Now he'll chug his feet. Direct snap. Lewis, he takes off into the secondary, into the red zone. And now the ball pops loose at the last second. Marshall saying they've got it. App State saying the ball was down by contact.
Ruling on the field as the runner was down.
He was down.
The ball coming out.
And there's an injured player down as well.
Yeah, it looks like he was down. Now, I may be wrong. I've got old eyes, but it looks like he was down when that ball popped out.
There's an injured player on the field in the middle of all that action.
Out on the field for an injury to the offensive team.
So for now, the 4th down conversion stands. Does not look like replay is going to look at that. We're going to go ahead and take a timeout, and we'll sort things out when we come back to the Rock here in Boone. Stadium, David Jackson, Avery Hall with you. 1:09 left here in the second quarter. So Jakari Trigg Lewis was the injured player. He got the 20-yard gain. That counts. He was down by contact before the ball popped loose. The Mountaineers now have it 1st and 10 from the 19-yard line of Marshall territory, driving here before halftime. And now a whistle and a stoppage of play and a timeout taken by App State. With the play clock rolling, it's down to 57 seconds. And Dowell Loggins will bring the troops back over. Rashad DeBinion in at the running back spot. It looked as though Lewis was favoring his shoulder as he walked off the field. Again, that's only speculation from our part, but that was the look that he
it was more than a look. That his right arm was hanging. He was gonna, laboring to walk, but the arm was hanging. So it looks like maybe a shoulder injury or something. But
Lewis, 18 carries, 117 yards in the first half.
And that's exactly what Appalachian needed today from the run game. A running back to eclipse 100 yards and kind of make sure this offense is converting on 3rd down. But prayers for him. Hopefully he's okay, and maybe it's something that can just pop back in place, but hopefully he's okay. Prayers for him.
So you got DeBinion taking back over at the running back spot. DeBinion in the first 5 games of the year averaged better than 122 yards per game, 5.7 yards a carry. The last 5 under 4 yards per carry and about 42 yards a game on the ground. See what he can do here. Cole with time in the pocket, passes across the middle, and that's good for a Mountaineer touchdown. David Larkins crosses the goal line, and the Apps get a score with time ticking down here in the second quarter.
You got to be happy for David Larkins. He works his tail off in the run game, blocking, and again, great decision by J.J. Cole. Take a look here. He tosses over the middle. Again, two safeties are kind of in conflict. They don't know if to come in and converge on him or go help with the outside receivers. You had trips to the wide side of the field, so I had to focus on that side. But good job by J.J. Cole making a good decision, good read to hit Larkins in the middle as he runs that crossing route. And Larkins does a good job of turning it up and running to get the touchdown.
DeFreitas, the PAT. He'll kick it this time, and it's up and good.
That's the drive that Appalachian needed. That's a great way to respond to the way that Marshall has been moving the football and the momentum they had. That's a great way to respond. Two solid drives by Appalachian on their touchdowns here in this first half.
Kind of helps wrestle that time of possession back almost even now at about 14 and a half minutes apiece for both of these teams. It goes down in the books as an 8-play, 75-yard drive, a little over 3 minutes for the Mountaineers. And a sustained drive to allow the defense to be able to make adjustments, get a little bit of breathing room.
That's
after
exactly
Marshall
right.
went with a couple of 1-2 punches there. Boy, what a great game, back and forth action at 21-16.
And what do you expect when Appalachian and Marshall get together? I mean, the last 2 games have been won by the home team, and they've kind of gone back and forth, and that's just kind of what you expect when these two football teams get together.
David Larkin's 6th career touchdown catch, a 19-yarder, his 2nd score of the year. 53 seconds left until halftime. We'll see if Marshall has time for an answer. They've got 2 timeouts remaining, and they've got a high-octane offense that has scored quickly today.
You know, with the way Marshall plays and with this quick tempo offense, 53 seconds is a long time for them. I would surmise that they're going to not be conservative, but and they'll try and move the football, but I don't think they're going to hold back. So I think Appalachian's defense needs to kind of not just be basic here. They need to kind of make sure they're still applying pressure to this Marshall offense.
Thundering Herd went 4 plays, 75 yards, and 90 seconds earlier in the game. It's going to be a little harder this time as Del Rio Wilson has dropped. That App State front line got to him. Both Dylan Manuel and Rondo Porter in the vicinity. 3-yard loss.
You know, when you rush the passer, when you rush Del Rio Wilson, you got to make sure you stay in your gap. Good job of staying in the gap, not giving him a seam to run in.
Looks like they'll probably just take one last snap here. Del Rio Wilson letting the play clock roll down. End off goes to Barbie. It's actually a fake. It's Del Rio Wilson off the left. And that should be how this first half ends. Del Rio Wilson on the keeper. Play clock rolling inside 5, and that'll do it here for first half play. So App State makes a little statement there toward the end. That last-minute touchdown drive makes this a one-possession game heading to halftime. 2 teams trying to get bowl eligible, or at least stay on the path to that. We got a great second half coming your way here from Kidd Brewer Stadium. Until then, halftime here at The Rock, 21-16. Marshall on top of App State here in Boone. Halftime here at Kid Brewer Stadium. Special day here in App State football as the 2005 National Championship team honored for 20 years of just celebration of their accomplishments, the first of 3 consecutive national championships. And we have the guy who called the signals, made it work. Richie Williams.
What's
joining
going on,
us here
DJ?
in the booth. How are you, man?
Good to be here.
So tell us about this weekend. There got to be about 60 of you guys back, right?
Oh yeah, man. I think about 55 guys showed up, maybe a little more. Even some guys from former teams, they came up as well.
The hangers-on is what we call
Hey,
it.
we love it. It's a big family, big family.
So 20 years have gone by. Does it feel like that for you?
No, man. It goes so fast, and you don't realize it until you have one of these events where everybody can come back, kind of enjoy, and just look back and see what we accomplished, man.
You know, I know we used to talk about some of those accomplishments back at that time and maybe even a few years after that, but now that you've had a little bit more time to reflect and you get back together on a weekend like this, does it start to click just how special that season was and what it really set up moving forward?
Oh, most definitely. We all been talking about it since we all got back here last night, just having conversations with the guys, just all the hard work that we actually put in, all the ups and downs that we went through in previous seasons before going into that senior year in 05, man. So just the hard work and dedication that everybody put forth.
Now, I want to take it back a little bit farther than that because you got your first collegiate start against Marshall.
That's correct.
What was that experience?
Oh, man, redshirt freshman year, 2002,
Yep.
I believe. So,
Smoking Joe was on the shelf. You had to go.
Man, yes, Joe had back surgery, so that was my very first action at App State up in West Virginia, up in Huntington.
And from that point forward, you know, you had the entire 2003 season. The 04 season was one where you started to see the evolution of the spread. How much did the early time that you got in your career set up what was that magical run in 05?
Yeah, just all the experiences I got over the years, running the different offenses, just trying to learn the processes that we needed to take and steps we needed to make just to become that championship caliber team.
Now, you have remained an athlete in the NASCAR circles. Tell us a little bit about your job and what you're doing now.
Oh, yeah. So I've been a jack man for probably 15 seasons or so in NASCAR, and now I'm actually a pit crew coach at Trackhouse Racing.
That's excellent. And what does a typical race day look like for you?
Oh, for myself, pretty much like Coach would say, hay's in the barn on Sundays for us. So I'm just making sure all the guys just have what they need to just perform the best of their ability on race day.
Now, I will tell the fans that I've seen you on race day, and you are like the mayor of all of the pit crews, which surprises no one. So one of the last questions here for you, who has aged the best out of everybody now that you've got a chance to see everybody this weekend?
Oh, man, Kyle Knox. I told him he looked like he needs to be on like Top Gun 3 or something, man. Yeah, Kyle Knox is aged very good.
So 20 years in the books, what do you think this is going to mean when you hit the 30 and the 40? Time gets, certainly away from us, but this will never leave, it seems.
No, most definitely. It's going to just be like fine wine. The more time goes on, the more we're really going to appreciate the work that we put into and the stuff we accomplish.
Fine wine for everybody, all on Brandon Turner here today. Richie Williams, always great to see you, man. Congratulations for everything. We look forward to talking to you again soon. Richie Williams joining us here at halftime at The Rock. We've got a football game to talk about, a pretty close one between App State and Marshall. We'll do that when we come back. Halftime here at Kid Brewer Stadium. Hey, you know, while you got a break in the action, you got to find a way to keep the action going. Miller Hill has seen better days right now, but yeah, exactly. That's the right look on the face. But hey, everybody pointing toward what is a solid football game thus far. 21-16 Marshall on top of App State. Everybody trying to get their fill. We've got Jerry Moore painted on the sideline while we were away. Plenty more to come from Kid Brewer Stadium in a very meaningful game for both of these two teams. We'll talk more about it when we come back to The Rock right after this. Halftime here at Kid Brewer Stadium, 21-16 Marshall on top of App State as we go back over some of the first half theatrics from this one. This is a contest that started out with a bang. Of course, Appalachian and Marshall getting together here on Heroes Day as well, honoring all the military veterans that are here. Both of these defenses, Avery Hall, came out to play to start the contest.
They really did. Again, you expected the game to have a lot of intensity, a lot of physicality, and both of these defenses delivered on the front end of the first half of this football game.
Not a whole lot to celebrate in those first few minutes, but the App State cheerleaders keeping it going. We saw Carlos Del Rio Wilson finally get loose. He had 100 yards passing, another 60 on the ground, really showcased his versatility throughout the first half.
Again, dual threat quarterback. I mean, he is a problem. He's a handful. You've got to make sure you respect him in the pass game, but you got to really focus on him in the run game, because if you turn your back in man-to-man coverage or you don't have proper gap alignment, he's going to gash you.
And he's got some moves, too. Check out the shimmy there for Carlos Del Rio Wilson, helping lead his team to a 21-16 victory. As we take a look at some of the stats, pretty balanced overall. Marshall with 221 yards of total offense, about 5, almost 6 yards per play, 121 on the ground. App State with one of their better rushing attacks, 113 yards after just a week removed, after having just 1 yard against James Madison last week. We'll take a timeout, come back with second half action right after this from the Rock, where Marshall leads 21-16. They're still sliding down the hill, rumbling, stumbling. I don't know if that's a first down gain or not. That might be a slide for loss.
I think he's short.
Yeah,
he's short on
I think so. We need the chains over there. We'll see. But we'll see if that mayhem continues or not. Whoever's manicuring the yard, I think it's that guy. I think he's saying, no, I gotta keep this looking nice. We had a good bit of rain yesterday. I was actually driving over here this afternoon thinking, you know, it rained just enough that Miller Hill might be just a slog. We'll see. The turf on the field, those ready for a track meet here in the second half. 21-16, Marshall on top. App State with the ball first. We have seen Trig Lewis, who was lost due to injury late in the second half, right before that Mountaineer touchdown. We've seen Lewis walking around with his helmet in hand. We'll see if he comes out for the opening drive of this second half. He has been an important part of the App State ground game. 18 carries, 117 yards, and a touchdown. All right, it's Rashad DeBinion, the normal starting running back, that will take the first snaps on this opening drive. You know, we talked a lot about the pageantry around App State today, the '05 National Championship team here. Great to catch up with Richie Williams at halftime. But it's funny how this rivalry brings out some of the lore. Bob Pruitt actually talked to the Marshall team earlier this week, and he got him pretty fired up. Got the head coach, Tony Gibson, equally excited. Carlos Del Rio Wilson said, man, I love that guy. He's just got energy. So everybody, we're bringing out all the stops here as these two get together for what should be an exciting second half.
He only played for, what, 4 or 5 national titles. He had runner-up in 91, national title in 92, runner-up in 93, and I think they won it in 96, right?
Won it in 96.
So he
on their way out.
Charismatic and knows how to coach football.
2-yard pickup for DeBinion on the opening play of the second half. That brings up 2nd and 8. Dozier in motion. Hand off to DeBinion. Shakes out of one tackler, breaks another across the 30. They'll give him forward progress there. Paul Hudson III had a chance for a tackle for loss, but DeBinion skated away from him. And here comes Trig Lewis.
DeBinion goes in and does what he needs to do. Again, makes for his 3rd down and 3rd and 5. But Lewis is back in. I mean, 6.5 yards per carry. You're gonna miss Lewis, but DeBinion was definitely serviceable in those last 2 plays.
App State 2 for 8 on 3rd down in the first half. Across the middle, that's Larkins on the catch, and he gets right to the sticks, the 35-yard line. That's good enough for a Mountaineer first down. It's hard to think that 25% on 3rd down would be an improvement over the previous 3 games. But App State had only moved at a 21% clip on 3rd down in the 3 previous contests. So we'll take baby steps. I think Dowell Loggins would be okay with that.
Take baby steps, but to win this football game, I think you're going to have to be eventually north of 40% to win this football game, because you're going to have to run the ball a lot. And so they're going to have to get better on 3rd down.
Coldrift back 5 steps, gets the pass out of the flats to Mbake, and that goes down as a 5-yard loss. Boy, Marshall saw that one coming a mile away.
Well, and that's a decision where J.J. Cole probably should have gone vertical versus horizontal. Again, look, he telegraphs that, and that's a slow developing play that allows the corner and safety both to come up. You probably need to go vertical with that when you've got that much time and that play developing that slowly. You probably go vertical, and you got a backside receiver open because of the way that all the safety floated to that boundary side.
Jabril Alameen in on the stop. Cole again. Safety valve pass. Here comes Lewis. Gets loose of a tackler off an open space. 45-yard line, shoved out of bounds. Trig Lewis. He's got a 2nd gear, and he used that gear to get into Marshall territory.
A good job by Trig Lewis. Not only did take a look here again. Cole is patient, gives the play time to develop. But then Lewis is smart. He uses good vision and runs off his offensive lineman well, allows him to set up their block. So good vision and good patience on his part.
Lewis 4 catches, 40 yards to go along with 117 on the ground. Mbake in motion. Hand off to Lewis. Running through a pile to the 41-yard line. Ripped down there by Paul Hudson III. Kind of watch out for him. Always part of the
Personal
And a
foul.
big play
Face
that Marshall
mask.
needs to turn
Defense
things.
number 55.
And that's Paul Hudson, the
Automatic
third,
first down.
with the face mask. He's kind of the guy that comes through with the clutch play. He has been a game turner at times and has been active here on this opening drive. A little too active with the face mask, as App State will benefit from the penalty yardage. That is 3 penalties for 30 yards against Marshall here in the contest now.
And he had a paw all over the face mask, and probably should have just let it go, but he used it to bring the ball carrier down. So that was ostensible that was a face mask.
Dozier in orbiting motion. Handoff goes to Lewis. Up the middle he goes again to the 21-yard line. A little downfield progress, a pickup of 5 yards. App State has found a seam in the middle of that defensive front, Avery Hall. When we saw the Mountaineers their most effective in the first half running the ball, it was that middle seam that was their train tracks, so to speak.
Middle seam, Griffin Scroggs, Will Flowers, Caden Sweat doing a good job in the interior there. But really, Lewis is doing a good job of being patient, allowing his blockers up front to set up their blocks, get their good angle blocks, and running off of their solid blocks. So just good execution right now up front. Like I said, men do what they have to do, boys do what they want to do. Right now, this offensive line is playing well.
Cole going back pylon. He's got a man back there, and that ball goes over the tops of both. That was thrown in the direction of Boogie Trotter, who was there in blanket coverage over the top of Davion Dozier. Boy, that's one of the most athletic matchups, receiver and corner, that you'll see in the league, no matter what.
A good matchup. Take a look here. The problem here is Cole expected Dozier to come back. You wouldn't say that that's going to be a back shoulder throw because he was facing the passer, but he probably expected Dozier to come back a little bit to catch that pass, and I bet if they run that 10 more times, they'd connect 9 times.
3rd down and 5 underneath, catch made, 15-yard line just inside that for Dalton Stroman. That'll move the chains, and App State converts on 3rd down again. Stroman just flashed open quick and made the first down catch.
That's his first catch of the day, if I'm not mistaken. It's good to see him get involved. Again, Dozier, Stroman, those receivers are the big guys that can stretch this field, so it's nice to see him catch a pass in the intermediate passing game as well.
Stroman's got a chance to sneak into the top 15 in passing yards before he vacates eligibility here at App State. Here's Larkins again on the catch coming out of the flats, and he is stopped for a loss of a yard on 1st down. Larkins with the 19-yard touchdown catch back at the end of the first half. Not as successful with his first grab in the second. They are kind to him and give him no gain on the play.
Well, Dayton Smith, the safety, he came up, pretty fast on that play and made a great open field tackle. Larkin's not a very fast guy. He's effective, but Dayton Smith just came up and made a great play.
There's a toss to Lewis, left side run, trying to use that offensive line inside the 5, knocked out at the 3. Lewis again, patient is the word Avery Hall used a moment ago. Great blocking downfield by Will Flowers to spring him free.
I tell you what, I like the way the big guys, the big ugly guys up front, I like the way they're coming off the ball and how they're being aggressive. And again, Lewis is just being very patient with his running right now.
Here's Lewis, straight up the middle, touchdown, black and gold. Mountaineers put it together on the opening drive, and they put themselves back on top, 22-21.
Outstanding drive. Now that's an Appalachian State, blue collar, physical, we're going to get it done type drive. Again, offensive line knocking folks off the ball, running backs being patient, having good vision, having good balance, running tough in between the tackles and on the outside perimeter. That was a great drive, David Jackson.
DeFreitas on for the PAT. We'll give App State a 2-point advantage. Good snap, good hold, good kick. Great start. 12 plays, 75 yards in just under 5.5 minutes. The Mountaineers find themselves up 2 on Marshall, 23-21 at the Rock. Back at Kid Brewer Stadium, yeah, they're a little pumped up now. Something to cheer about, something to dance to. The Mountaineers back on top, 23-21. Again, 12-play, 75-yard drive, 5:33 off the opening third quarter clock. Avery Hall, more importantly from App State's perspective, 3 third-down conversions on the drive, including the touchdown run by none other than Trig Lewis, who's back on the field and healthy, 139 yards on his day, and now 2 touchdowns.
If you're going to win this football game, you're going to have to continue to run the ball well and convert on third downs. I know that sounds cliche, but it's as simple as it is. I mean, you're going to have to do that. So great drive. Second half, that's 100% on third down. You got to keep that going.
Xavier Turner Bradshaw with a solid return of about 33 yards. Will set Marshall up in good field position. Bradshaw had a 36-yard return just a couple of weeks ago against JMU. They'll officially mark it 29 and give the Thundering Herd the football right there at that 29-yard line. 9:21 to go, third quarter. App State scored first. Let's see if Marshall answers. There has been an answer to each team's answer here for the last several possessions. Carlos Del Rio Wilson, 100 yards passing, 60 yards rushing in the first half. He gives to Joshawn Barbie. It actually is Wilson on the keep, Barbie the decoy, and the App State defense a little bit more in tune to that. Kevin Abrams-Verwayne on the stop on the interior.
Good job by Abrams-Verwayne. Just continue to work down the line of scrimmage. He actually had run past the quarterback, came back to make a great tackle there.
Del Rio Wilson on the slant. Floyd Lacey on the catch. That'll stretch the chains for Marshall.
That's a hard play to stop. I mean, that inside slant route, particularly when you got a guy like, Floyd Lacey, has a big body. He's 6 foot, 187. Not a huge guy, but a tall guy, and has a good catch radius and can block out that defender when he does that inside slant.
6 catches, 79 yards. Del Rio Wilson finds him again. This time he gets away from a tackler inside the 40, and Floyd Lacey moves the chains into Mountaineer territory as he gets a little closer to the 100-yard threshold on the day.
Tell you what, that was a great hustle play by Colton Ferris. I mean, had he not tackled him from behind, I know it looked like there were other defenders in the vicinity, but he would still be running if Colton Ferris hadn't had hustle to make that tackle.
Lacey at 101 as Barbie takes the left side run into the Mountaineers secondary and is finally twisted down to the turf. Rondo Porter on the stop. Go back to Lacey. He had 3 games in the middle of the season, all consecutive 100-yard games, so this his 4th over the century mark. He said, every time that I have the ball, I want to run through somebody. A physical, bruising, offensive weapon, and he is starting to get loose here in the third quarter. 2-point App State lead. Del Rio Wilson with the toss out to Barbie, left side, out of an arm tackle, still on his feet inside the 10, and is wrapped up at the 9-yard line. Marshall inside the Mountaineer 10, 1st and goal.
That's poor tackling. You got to do a better job of tackling. Again, that was a well-executed offensive play. Again, look at here. They kind of pitch it out to him. He has a seam, sees a lot of real estate, but you got to make an open field tackle. You got to give a little more effort than that and make that tackle authoritative, particularly in a tight, close football game like this one.
Dylan Manuel on the stop. 1st and goal. They'll mark it right at the 10-yard line. Marshall trying to answer. Del Rio Wilson hands off to Allen, who bounces off a couple of his own men and will take a twist to the turf at the 8-yard line. Pickup of 2 on 1st down. Well, this third quarter is flying by. 2 possessions have almost taken us inside the 6-minute mark.
It's interesting. We talk about Appalachian having to run the football to have success. Well, the defense has to stop the run. And right now, Marshall's offensive line, they're controlling our defensive line. Now the defensive line at Appalachian, they've made a few good plays, in between, plays here. But right now, Marshall's offensive line is controlling the line of scrimmage.
Del Rio Wilson clearing Allen out, tries to run up the middle, and Kyle Arnholt and crew will stop him. That'll bring up 3rd and goal from about the 6.
The way Marshall's been moving football on this particular drive, holding them to a field goal would be a win. Now, again, I may be premature in talking about that, but if they can get a stop here on 3rd and hold them to a field goal, I would think that's a win, particularly the way they were moving the football earlier in this drive.
Marshall 3 of 6 on 3rd down this afternoon. All of that in the first half. Payne in motion. Del Rio Wilson with time, throws it, zings it over the head of Lacey, incomplete. Boy, he had him. He was wide open in the back of the end zone, but Del Rio Wilson just sailed that pass enough as it went over the outstretched fingertips of Floyd Lacey.
That was definitely busted coverage because, again, you got Floyd out there, and I think he thought he had safety help over top. There's nobody there. If he throws that ball accurately, that's an easy touchdown for Lacey. Again, I think Floyd thought the safety was going to be over top that receiver, and that was not the case.
Chip shot field goal here for Lorcan Quinn. Six of 7 from this distance. Good snap. The hold is down. The kick nearly over the backup net and on to Miller Hill. So Marshall swings it back in front on the foot of Lorcan Quinn. The freshman puts the Herd up 1 at 24-23 as we play on in the 3rd quarter here in Boone. Back in Boone, you know, if you don't clean out your refrigerator, your condiments will just run right out of that environment. Ketchup looking like he's getting after it. Hey, you can't beat fun at the old ballpark sometimes.
That definitely wasn't Heinz ketchup because he was running too fast, right?
I've never seen ketchup come out the bottle that fast.
That's right.
24-23, Marshall up 1 now on the 25-yard field goal by Lorcan Quinn. It's his 13th consecutive make. He missed a 51-yarder against Old Dominion back several weeks ago. Tied for 5th in all of college football in makes thus far this year. That was the 19th field goal through the uprights for the freshman kicker.
You know, DJ, I know we're kind of, this top ball game is tight, but I will say that considering what transpired last week up in the JMU, I do think this Appalachian State team has come out with more fight. I was kind of worried about how they would come out and how they would respond to such a butt whooping, but they've come out and responded pretty well and playing good football right now.
Trig Lewis on the carry, trying to continue that middle track that has been so successful. Dajuan Smith plugs it up. And a 3-yard gain on first down. App State's loss last week was the 3rd worst conference loss in program history. And as a matter of fact, Marshall has one of those 2 worst losses.
You had to bring that up.
I had to bring that up.
You had to bring that up.
50-point loss to Marshall back in 1990. The worst loss in conference play in school history was a 58-point defeat to Chattanooga back in 1978.
Brown was on that team, right, Steve?
Steve Brown was on that team. And just outside the ranking, a 47-point loss to Georgia Southern that you referenced earlier back in 2004.
Offside.
There is a flag
Defense.
on the play.
Well,
Number
and I
99.
say you had to bring that
with
up because
contact,
I was on that
5-yard
team.
penalty.
We went
Still
up to
second down.
Marshall, and they just hammered us. They beat us 50-0. That year we were 6-5. We lost to Marshall. We lost to Clemson 48-0. We got beat by speed limits between Clemson, Marshall, and NC State. We also lost to Wake Forest and Furman that year. But the beautiful rainbow at the end of that season is we won the conference championship. Coach Jerry Moore's first conference championship in the '91 season. So you can call us ugly in 1990, but you had to call us champions in 1991.
Trig Lewis, after the penalty on 2nd down and 4, gets to the 34-yard line. Will be a yard shy of the first down.
But yeah, a lot of people were talking about that loss last week, and it kind of bothered me a little bit because I'm like, you all talking about worst loss, and you act like you know so much of ASU's history, which you don't, because that was not the worst loss. Again, I remember the Georgia Southern loss in 2004. They came back and won a national championship in 2005. I remember obviously remember the 50-0 loss at Marshall. And then, you know, you and I were talking, so you were telling me about Brownie's loss back against Chattanooga. So if they knew the history, they wouldn't say it was the worst loss. We've been there before.
Cole going to try to run for it on 3rd down and 1, leans in, and he's going to be a yard short.
I would ask for them to review that spot.
The spot is the 34.5. He's going to be a half-yard short. As Cole rolled out on the keeper, little play action look.
I don't know if
it turned into a QB run.
Replay of that, but it looked as if that was not a good spot.
It's a great stop by Marshall defensively to stay with the QB. App State has not been a traditional power run for a yard type team all year long, and Marshall was just kind of waiting for what the scheme might bring. Here's Ratliff to punt the football away, a driving punt. Fielded at the 25 and sniffed out at the 31.
Gosh, I hate that they didn't review that spot because he's such a tall guy. Maybe his knee did touch down, but I just thought that he got more yards there.
We got a timeout on the field. Marshall by 1 with the football back. 3 minutes to go in quarter number 3. Back at Kid Brewer Stadium. Fans excited for this one. It's a nail-biter, 1-point game. 24-23 Marshall on top. App State, after the Marshall field goal that put them ahead, could not get a drive put together, and we'll see if Marshall can utilize that potent offense and get some separation. The pass to Toby Payne, incomplete. Marshall rushed 34 times last week for 168 yards. They're at 28 for 153 right now. That snapped a 7-game streak where they rushed the ball 40 or more times in a game. They are south of that productivity, but their run game has been solid, 5.5 yards per touch. We'll see if they use that to their advantage. And just on that cue, you see Barbie get loose into Mountaineer territory to the 45-yard line. The ground game is where Marshall can salt games away.
Again, this is what they want to do. Again, Rod Smith, wherever he's been the offensive coordinator, he has run the football and run it very, very well. That's what Marshall wants to do, and they do it in a quick tempo, trying to wear down this defense at the same time.
Del Rio Wilson going for the home run ball. That's way overthrown. Nearly a pick opportunity for Zaire Gamble had he had one more step.
And sometimes I think those deep balls by Del Rio Wilson are just eye candy for defenses.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense number 97, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
If you remember, prior to that gashing by the running back 2 plays ago, they threw to the tight end and missed it. Now they've thrown over the top of the defense. Now, I guarantee they're going to come back with a gashing middle seam, inside gap run play or inside zone run play, but that's just how they try and set defenses up. And Coach Rod Smith does a good job doing that.
Well, and they've got more real estate to work with after the personal foul penalty against Kevin Abrams-Verwain for roughing the passer. That is the 5th penalty for 50 yards against App State. Teams even in both number of penalties and yardage. And what has been a pretty close game. Here's Allen right up the middle, as Avery Hall predicted. And he is brought down from behind by Pitts.
And that's not being a smart guy. It's just you notice trends in a football game. Every time they kind of go deep or try and go vertical with the passing game, they come back and try and gash you with the running game. Now, sometimes they've connected with Lacey, and so that makes the safety and the linebackers really focus on the middle and kind of taking that step back towards the pass coverage, but they're trying to set that run game up.
Empty backfield on 2nd and 6 underneath. First down gain and a little bit more for Floyd Lacey as he catches the ball back to the end zone and uses his legs to charge forward inside the red zone to the 19-yard line.
DJ, a lot of people will talk about play calling and schemes and how coaches try to be effective. But at the end of the day, if you don't have Jimmys and Joes executing those plays, it doesn't matter. Now, you watch, they're going to run, and they're going to be highly successful because they've got good Jimmys and Joes. This is going to come back because of holding. But they've got good Jimmys and Joes, and they execute.
Allen gets across the goal line for the touchdown, but there is a flag back at the 19-yard line in the very obvious vicinity of holding.
Holding, offense, number 57, 10-yard penalty, still first down.
It was so obvious the Marshall sideline didn't even celebrate the touchdown. You knew it was coming back.
Yeah, well, again, go back, a lot of folks want to talk about this, play calling that, play calling this. Really, your Jimmys and Joes, every offensive play is designed to score. People can chuckle at that or laugh at that. Every play is designed to score if blocked appropriately and everybody executes the way they're supposed to. But it's not going to happen. But if you've got good Jimmys and Joes and they're executing the play you call, you're going to have success.
Joshawn Barbie, the setback, top of your screen. Payne in motion. Del Rio Wilson underneath Lacey, finds him inside the 25-yard line and stymied there. App State's walled up defense pushes him back. Elijah McCantos, one of the first to him.
That was a very, very smart play by the entire defensive line. Marshall had run this play in the 2nd quarter and gained almost 30 yards on it because the defense was too aggressive and got upfield. This time, they kind of knew what was coming. They slowed down on the rush, and all of 4 defensive linemen got back, as you can see, to help make the play there.
Inside a minute to play here in the 3rd quarter. 1-point ball game. Here's Barbie again inside the 20, gets to the 18. That's just inside the initial sticks. Boy, that penalty really hurt. Not only did it take the touchdown off the board, but I mean, it set Marshall so far back. Almost having to regain this territory again.
And you hate to set low expectations, but a field goal here would be a win. Again, 2 drives in a row, if they hold them to a field goal, where they've held Marshall to a field goal. So Appalachian's offense has to respond on the next drive.
3rd down and 9. Marshall's done a good job of keeping App State pressure at bay. Is this one of those times that DJ Smith can dial one up? Game clock rolling inside 5 seconds now. Looks like Marshall's going to let this clock roll out and sort this out on the other end. So we head to quarter number 4.
This is the end of
App
the third
State,
period.
Marshall, 1-point game at the Rock. Go refresh the popcorn. Make sure your ketchup's not running out of the refrigerator. We're back right after this. Sick Kid Brewer Stadium. David Jackson, Avery Hall back with you. Glad you're with us. 1-point game. App State Marshall. Kind of how this rivalry was meant to be. 29th meeting. Marshall with 2 wins and 3 Sun Belt meetings. App State is 3-2 against the Herd in the FBS era. Played a couple of non-conference games against each other before Marshall joined the league. Here we go, 3rd down and 9. Drama on the first play of the 4th quarter. Del Rio Wilson with a ton of time. Now takes it upon himself, sprinting toward the sideline and knocked at the 10-yard line. That's going to be a yard shy of the 1st down. So a 4th down play coming up for the Herd.
4th down play, that's a favorable spot too. Looks like they're going to go for the field goal. Again, if you hold them to 3, it's a win, and it makes it still a 1-possession ball game. But again, you may say not a good rush, and they did get upfield, but at least they didn't give him a hole where he could run upfield and get, you know, it's easy to get to the end zone going straight up the field. They forced him outside and gave some time for help to come.
Lorcan Quinn hit from 25 earlier, his 13th consecutive make. This from 28, and a 4-point lead, and it's blocked. The Mountaineers block it. No points.
That's huge. That is huge.
A momentum shift potentially with 14:09 to go in the game.
So DJ, you and I were talking offline about going for the extra point and going for the 2-point conversion.
That's Nigel Cooper who got his hand on it.
And so now we're even. They blocked the point because that was going to come back to haunt Appalachian, going for 2 versus kicking the extra point.
Now you wish you had that point in a 1-point game. You're talking about an even contest, yeah.
Now the defense,
the blocked field goal again snaps a 13 consecutive make streak there by Lorcan Quinn.
So the defense has responded and done what it's supposed to do. At this juncture of the football game, there's still plenty of football left. So how does the offense respond? Do they come out and the offensive line grinds and the running backs chew up yardage, the receivers catch balls and they're supposed to catch balls, and Coles continues to make good decisions? Does that happen?
Here's Lewis, his 25th carry of the day is stymied by that Marshall front line. Right there in the middle of the action, Paul Hudson the third. Let's watch that block again. It's the second block of the year by Nigel Cooper. He had one against Georgia State as well. He can get up.
That's good. He's 6'3".
Change light bulbs without a ladder.
He's 6'3", 260, so he's a light guy. He can get up in there.
Second down and 9. Play action fake. Cole with some time across the middle, and that ball through the hands of Stroman had the first down gain at the 36.
Now, Cole had to throw that football prior to him, really wanted to, but that's a catchable football. Again, it was a little behind Stroman, but again, it's a catchable football. A guy who's, again, he had to throw. He didn't get a chance to set his feet, but that's a catchable football by Stroman. I mean, you talk about Stroman, his catch radius is huge. He's 6'4", 210. He's got to be able to reach back and grab that, pull that ball in.
Larkin's in motion. Cole with time, little sidearm pass. Lewis out of the backfield to the 20, and that's it. And Marshall read that one well. Also, Carry-On Martin right with Trig Lewis the entire time as that play developed.
You really didn't want to see a 3-and-out because the ASU defense worked so hard on that previous drive and stopping Marshall and not allowing any points. So now they've got to go back out, and I'm sure Marshall's going to continue to have that quick tempo offense and try and wear this defense down. But ASU's defense will have to rise up one more time here just to kind of give this football team a chance to win this football game. And Marshall's going to have decent field position here, too.
Speaking of rising up, how about Marshall's defense here? These last couple of possessions forcing 2 3-and-outs. Lacey, top return man in the Sun Belts, stymied on the punt from Ratliff. Marshall will have it from the 33 when we come back to Boone. A 1-point game. Herd with the football when we return. Everybody excited about nail-biting football. Maybe she's a little bit more excited than most, but hey, celebrate a well-contested game, and that's what we've had here today at Kid Brewer Stadium, a one-point affair. Marshall leads by a point. As we've mentioned, App State failed on a two-point conversion try early in the contest. It may loom large. Here's Barbie on the run. Big chunk play up toward midfield, and that was the run that Marshall needed to start this drive after their defense has pitched back-to-back 3-and-outs to set up an opportunity to wrestle away a little bit of clock and a little bit of command in this football game.
You talk about their defense holding ASU to 3-and-outs. That's where ASU has to be more effective and proficient on offense. But Marshall is answering the bell. I mean, they're moving the football on first down and getting productive yards on first down and giving themselves at least 4 to 5, 6, 7 play drives to kind of keep themselves moving. But ASU's offense has to respond with a more effective drive.
Time out on the field for an injury to the offensive team.
A stoppage of play here briefly. Cam Fleming on that tackle of Floyd Lacey. 4-yard pickup for Marshall on first down as they creep into App State territory. Again, a blocked field goal on the last drive. Lorcan Quinn had made from 25, got blocked at 28.
Trips to the wide side of the field. Look for Marshall, run back to the left.
Fake on the run, the pass deflected. And falls incomplete to the turf. That was a forward pass. And boy, that pocket collapsed quickly on Carlos Del Rio Wilson. That's the best pressure that App State's had in the entire second half.
Good pressure, and they actually faked.
Really on the field was a forward pass for an incomplete pass.
I was thinking trips to the wide side of the field. The last time they in that formation, they ran back to the left, but this time he's throwing it out.
Game clock operator, please set the clock to 11:41. 11:41.
But again, that's showing a similar formation, but running a different play. Good job by Marshall's offensive coordinator.
Hurd 3 of 8 on third down. 0 for 2 here in the second half. 4 wide. Del Rio Wilson sends Allen out in motion. Pocket collapsing. Del Rio Wilson takes off on his feet to the 45-yard line. And that's actually Zion Turner on the carry. Turner ends up about 5 yards shy.
You know, when Zion Turner or Del Rio Wilson, when they run the football, I cringe. But really, that was a great job by the defensive line. I know he got 5 yards. I know that they didn't put an inordinate amount of pressure on him. But what they did was they put pressure on him while maintaining their gaps, not allowing too much space for him to find a seam, because these dual threat quarterbacks, if they see a seam, they are going to gash, and I hate to be redundant there. So good job of rushing and maintaining gap responsibility there.
Totten has pinned 16 punts back inside the 20-yard line, and that one will get signaled for a touchback, as it just did check up at about the half-yard line and bounce in. So App State will get a little bit of extra territory. The Mountaineers get the defensive stand. 10:50 to go, 1-point game. Mountaineers with the ball when we come back. Just under 11 minutes to go here in Kip Brewer Stadium. Perfect setting for rivalry football here on this afternoon. 24-23 Marshall by a point. There you see the 61 painted on the hill just above Miller Hill in honor of former App State head coach and former Mountaineer Sean Clark, a good friend of Marshall head coach Tony Gibson, so much so that Gibson reached out to Coach Clark's family this week and said, hey, is it okay if we put a 61 sticker on our helmet as well? Of course, Sean Clark, a native of West Virginia, very close to the NC State staff when Tony Gibson was there under head coach Dave Doran. And just another show of classiness between these two rivals. It is possible to despise each other on the football field, but show respect for one another off. And I know a lot of Mountaineer fans will remember Marshall was the first destination for football after Helene last year, and the Marshall fan base was incredibly hospitable to a group of folks that had just been through one of the most traumatic experiences, and they made that a very pleasant one up in Huntington. So game respects game here as App State goes for a 3rd down and 1 play, trying to move the sticks. Lewis gobbled up, and Marshall gets the stop. 4th down is the call as Lewis tried to go up the middle on 3rd down and 1, almost 3rd and inches for that matter.
You got to punt this away in this situation.
9:50 and rolling.
And you know, this is probably why Appalachian has gone for. Take a look here. Offensive line gets a decent push, but I think Lewis, he pauses and tries to look to the outside, then goes back inside. These guys are too big, too fast, too strong. That gap's going to close quickly. Once you make that commitment outside, you got to hit it and hit it hard. And he tried to come back inside, didn't get it. But this is probably why, you know, the fan base has seen some throws on some of these short down, 3rd down and 1 type scenarios.
How about that saw blade just checking up on the sideline, taking a hard left and rolling at the 3. Boy, the punt of the year for Ian Ratliff.
It's a heck
he had
of a punt.
54-yarder earlier. That one 70. A 70-yard punt for Ian Ratliff. Comes at just the right time to pin Marshall deep. That bests his career mark of 54 set against Boise State earlier this year.
That's a timely, good punt by Ratliff. Again, if they can at least hold them down to at least maybe 2, a 3 and out, or even a 4 or 5 play drive, they're going to get excellent field position. And this clock is winding down. You got 9 minutes and 9 seconds left. So I'm sure ASU may get the ball two more times, if that. But again, they've got to get a good defensive stop here.
Del Rio Wilson out of his own end zone. Here's Roberts right into Rondo Porter's hands as he picks up maybe a yard on the play. They'll call it 2. We'll bring up 2nd and 8 from the 9-yard line.
He's 6'1", 203, so they're trying to give it to one of the bigger backs and seeing if he can, you know, create some breathing room. But ASU still has to play tough here. Be great to go 3 and out here.
Del Rio Wilson rolling left. Pass out on the left sideline is complete up across the 20-yard line to DeAndre Tamarez. His first catch of the 2nd half. That'll move the chains.
That's a gutsy call. Again, you're thrown out there in the flats. Anything can happen to INT or pick 6. Again, you know, just good, strong arm, good throw by Del Rio Wilson. Good catch. Gutsy call there.
Zion Turner back in at the QB spot. 1st and 10. Handoff Roberts. Tries to turn up the seam. Kyle Arnholt gets him from behind. About a 3-yard pickup on 1st down.
Good job by Kyle Arnholt running sideline to, well, not sideline, running to the wide side of the field. Again, that back's pretty quick, but he turned on the jets, did a good job of getting out there and making a great tackle there and not allowing him to get more yardage.
Turner 2 of 3 passing, 19 yards. He's got 9 yards rushing from the QB spot. He's got Allen off his right hip, fakes to Allen, rolling out. Pass complete on the curl. Lacey up across the 25. He'll be pulled at the 27, about 3 yards shy of the 1st down. So a 3rd and 3 call for Marshall. Hell's bells ring here on 3rd down at the Rock. And this cold crowd, as the sun starts to set, rises to their feet. Marshall yet to convert a 3rd down here in the 2nd half.
Got trips to the wide side of the field. It'll be interesting to see if they throw a quick pass over to the middle receiver once one receiver rubs it. It'll be interesting to see what they do here. They may even have Del Rio Wilson run it because, again, they have that much confidence in him in this short yardage situation.
Turner's still in there at the QB spot. Bunch set underneath. He's going that way. Pass complete at the 30-yard line and a release after the fact. That's a first down grab for Marshall. Credit DeAndre Tamarez for catching the football and then leaning forward to get momentum to break another extra 3 yards on the play.
Again, they got trips out there. So they actually threw to the inside receiver, the middle receiver. Those guys look to rub a little bit, and good, strong throw. You know, they're using Zion Turner more so here lately, and he has a strong arm because that was a nice throw there.
Handoff goes to Allen off the right side. Pickup of maybe a yard on the play. I'll give him 1 yard. The injury tent is up right now for Marshall, and there is no Carlos Del Rio Wilson on the sideline that we can see, at least at this point. So Zion Turner is the man as we go inside 6 minutes in a 1-point game. App State and Marshall each with all 3 of their timeouts.
You know, DJ, how lucky is Marshall to have Zion
Turner on the run.
You know, in their quarterback room. He was at Jacksonville State with, it looks like a turnover here.
Hold up, App State saying they've got the ball. I think they're going to say the ball was down by contact, although Marshall tried to jump on it.
The ruling on the field is a fumble recovered by the defense. First down.
Hold everything there. Caleb Stanstrom comes out of the bottom of the pile with it. This may be reviewed, we'll see. The initial call on the field is fumble by Marshall, their second turnover of the day. At midfield, let's watch it.
Couldn't tell from that
Hard
angle.
to tell from that angle, but the ball was out as Turner rolled over and Marshall pounced on it like they knew it was live.
Well, and if you look at Zion Turner's body language, he's going after the ball.
Oh yeah, that
ball's out. Yeah, it's out.
They're going to review it as we have our first review of the day, or our second review of the day, one for targeting. Brandon Kirkland will run over and take a look, but by the look that our top flight crew has been able to find, it looks like the ball was out as Turner was coming to the ground.
Yeah, the way his body language, again, the way he responded, if you look here, the ball comes out right there. And the way he goes after it, he's kind of like, look how he's going, like, I need to get that ball back. That tells you a lot that he knows it was out of his hands. And there it is, it's out.
Dylan Manuel was the man in the front, Sandstrom from behind. Sandstrom was the one that actually hopped on the football. They're taking a good look.
What I was going to say earlier is Zion Turner was with Coach Rod Smith at Jacksonville State. How often these days do you have the luxury of having a quarterback who knows your offensive installation and offensive plays, and you can pull him in a critical situation like this, and you have the confidence in him that he can run the offense, knows the plays, knows the scheme, knows exactly what the coordinator is going to do. You don't have that luxury nowadays.
Yeah, and you know, Turner only played 1 game at Jacksonville State last year. He was at UConn in 23, threw for 1,400 yards and 9 touchdowns, but being in that offense for a year.
Yeah, I mean, even if you didn't play, but just knowing what the coordinator is going to call, kind of knowing what you know, he wants to accomplish and what the game plan really looks like and how they're going to attack the defense. You just don't have that luxury nowadays, so they're fortunate to have that over it.
We do now see Carlos Del Rio Wilson running on the Marshall sideline, kind of doing some sprints.
After video review, the ruling of a fumble is upheld. First down, Appalachian State.
So the Mountaineers get the football. The ruling upheld on the field, and the Mountaineers now down 1 in Marshall territory. 5:33 to go.
That's a costly turnover.
We're going to take a timeout here at the Rock. 1-point game. App State and Marshall. We'll stay here, actually. They're going to come back here. We will keep things and all of this energy with you.
Great opportunity for this Appalachian offense Last week was not pretty. This week has been a good competitive football game. How do you want to finish? As Coach Jerry Moore used to say, how do you want to finish this football game? You got a good opportunity.
Cole for Lewis on the handoff inside the 40-yard line to the 37. Pickup of 3, almost 4 on first down. Clock will roll toward the 5-minute mark. Long field goal of the year for DeFreitas, 49 against Oregon State, kicking with the wind on this end. Just saying. That comes to be.
I don't think he's missed between 40 and 49 all year, has he?
Lewis to the 35-yard line. They'll bring up third down at 5.
I got an old memory, but I think when I was looking at some of his statistics between 40 and 49, I don't think he's missed in that range.
Actually, 5 of 8.
Oh, okay.
He's just missed 3 times.
Okay. See, I got old eyes, so I thought that 8 was a 0. No, I'm just kidding. I was just wrong.
Gotta get a few more yards to make that happen. Third down and 5. Cole, fake handoff, pass on the sideline, complete for the first down gain. What a play fake by J.J. Cole. Sam Mbake on the catch, first down, black and gold.
I tell you what, with Jaden Barnes being out today, Mbake has stepped up in a major way. He has, what, 8 catches, if I'm not mistaken?
7 catches, 39 yards.
39 yards. He stepped up in a major way today.
Possession receiver. First down and 10, App State from the Marshall 22. Down 1 point with 4 minutes to go. Lewis off the left side. Has some space inside the 10. Spun down at the 9-yard line. Touchdown saving tackle by Cam Smith. And the Mountaineers first and goal now.
Tell you what, turnover at a perfect time, excellent field position, nice methodical drive right here. Now you just have to hang on to the football and try and chew up more clock. You want to get a touchdown, but you know that if you chew up enough clock, you can put at least 3 on the board. But nice methodical drive here.
Cole gets the snap. Hand off Lewis, this time right side run. And he's tackled in the middle. Paul Hudson, the third, in on the play. You know, one thing, Marshall +9 in the takeaway game coming in today. Today -2, and the blocked field goal as well.
And Appalachian will take that all day. Looking at Jakari Trigg Lewis, he's a 5'10", 210-pound, 5-pound freshman. You know, DJ, he has been very, very mature in the way he's run the football today. Not only with his yard after initial contact, but just with his patience behind the offensive line.
Second down, Lewis again, left side, and Cam Smith catches up with him at the 5-yard line. Another stop by Smith that saves points for Marshall, as he was the lone man back. That'll bring up third and goal from the 5-yard line as the clock rolls. App State can't let it get to the 2-minute timeout, but awfully close to it. Mountaineers 6 of 15 on third down. They were 2 of 8 at halftime. Here we go, third and goal from the 5. Cole gets the snap, rolling out toward his right. Looking short, that's Mbake, catches at the 4-yard line and is plowed out of bounds by Boogie Trotter. Good coverage there for Marshall. That'll bring up fourth down. Stops the clock with 2:06 to go, and the field goal unit comes out. Dominic DeFreitas, freshman out of Napanee, Indiana. 13 of 16 on the year. 5th in the Sun Belt.
Timeout for a defensive
percentage.
injury.
And now we have a timeout and an injured member of the Marshall defense. That will hold things up here momentarily.
I reckon that's he's hurt.
We'll go ahead and take a timeout. Timeout on the field with 2:06 to go. Marshall up 1. Mountaineers kicking when we come back. 2:06 to go, fourth quarter. David Jackson, Avery Hall back with you. Marshall by a point, 24-23. Dominic DeFreitas to kick what would be a 23-yard field goal with the wind at his back to give App State a lead with about 2 minutes to go in the fourth. DeFreitas 4 for 4 from this distance on the year. Ian Ratliff, the holder. The long snapper, Jacob Poff. Snap down, hold good, kick on the way, and it is through, and the Mountaineers take the lead. 26-24 with 2:02 to go. Dominic DeFreitas, his second field goal of the day.
Great way to respond. Now, Appalachian's defense has a great opportunity. Some people would say it's a stressful opportunity. I think it's a great opportunity to go out and try and preserve this football game by stopping Marshall. And they'll have, Marshall has what, 3 timeouts? DJ, I can't see down there. I think 3 timeouts.
They've got Marshall number 15 is now
left,
wearing number 43.
and they'll get the 2-minute timeout. But great opportunity for this Appalachian defense coming up.
So off the turnover, 8-play drive, 35 yards, 3:31 off the fourth quarter clock. A 23-yard field goal by Dominic DeFreitas, his second of the day, gives App State a 2-point lead. Lorcan Quinn, a 55-yard career long against Coastal Carolina. He has kicked 6 field goals. Check that. He has attempted 6 field goals this year of 50-plus. He has made 4 of them. So field position is going to be everything. The touchback on the kickoff will give Marshall the football at the 25-yard line, and we'll see who the signal caller will be. Carlos Del Rio Wilson was injured, was trying to work that out on the sideline.
Looks like Zion Turner's back.
Zion Turner is back after the fumble that led to the App State short drive and go-ahead field goal. 2:02 to go. We'll have the 2-minute stoppage here in a moment. Each team with 3 timeouts left. The Rock getting loud here in the fourth quarter.
Holding. There's a
Turner
holder.
To the 30-yard line on the catch. About a 5-yard gain for Marshall as Tamarez comes back to the football.
I apologize. I get excited. I clearly saw a hold on the defensive end.
This is the 2-minute timeout.
That'll be the 2-minute warning. We'll get Avery some resuscitation, and we'll come back right after this. 26-24, App State by 2 at the Rock.
DJ, is pretty obvious I'm a fan before I'm a color analyst, but you can clearly see the hole there on Verwaine's Abrams there. Again, his shoulder, his body torque or turned, so that means that the tight end had engaged or held his shoulder, but maybe he was not engaged long enough for them to call it. But in a tight football game, you got to make those calls.
Zion Turner on 2nd and 5. Handoff goes to Joshawn Barbie, who is stood up shy of the first down, picks up another yard. App State with a gang tackle in there in the middle. Colton Ferris coming out of the bottom of the pile, along with Kevin Abrams Verwaine. 3rd down and 4. Minute 35 and rolling. 2-point App State lead. Turner, pass complete. Lacey gets free, and another couple extra yards up to the 42-yard line. 1st down, Marshall. Boy, what a catch from Floyd Lacey.
Again, when you need a big-time play, you go to a big-time player. Floyd Lacey, and he's the type guy who's going to make those plays for Marshall down the stretch if they're able to make those plays.
Got 12 catches for 134. Here's Turner off his back foot. Pass to the tight end out of the backfield is Toby Payne, and he'll catch up near the 45. They'll mark him at the 46-yard line. Pickup of nearly 5 on 1st down. Actually, they'll call it exactly that. 2nd down and 5 coming up.
Toby does a good job of getting out of bounds, stopping the clock. Again, they've got about 54 yards to pay dirt, and I'm sure they need to probably get it within the 30 on field goal. So two or three critical plays coming up for this Appalachian defense.
A win for Marshall is bowl eligibility. A win for App State is an opportunity to get there next week. Here's Turner drifting back. His pass complete. Payne caught that ball in 1st down space, but the forward progress will be a yard short. He actually came back against the grain, had the 1st down catch that didn't give him that forward progress. So 2nd and 1. Marshall will take a timeout with 1:01.
That is their first of the half. It'll
They've got 2 remaining.
Timeout.
Payne looks a little
Clock
bit
operator, please put 1:03 on the clock.
shaken over there on the sideline.
Again, you mentioned it, DJ. Payne had the 1st down. Take a look here. Zion Turner throws a nice ball. He has the 1st down, but he circles back to try and get more yardage. And again, that's where some of these receivers just really need to learn to turn it up and just get what you can get and preserve that 1st down.
Marshall with 428 yards of total offense today. 200 passing, 228 rushing. Very balanced look for Tony Gibson's club. He said he was looking for that balance this week. After such a pass-happy game last week, the first 300-yard passing game of Marshall's season against Georgia State in the win. All right, here we go. 3rd down and 1. Marshall trying to keep the drive alive just into Mountaineer territory at the 49. Allen, the shifting back. He's got the 1st down and then some to the 42-yard line. Ball pops loose. Ball is loose. App State saying they've got it. The Mountaineers have it with 55 seconds to play. If this play stands, it's black and gold ball. Hold on here.
Been a pretty clean football game up until this 4th quarter for Marshall and Appalachian.
By the defense.
No turnovers.
Appalachian State.
3 turnovers today. An interception as well as 2 fumbles, and 2 fumbles at critical times.
Unbelievable turn of events. A team that was in the upper echelon of the country in turnover margin has coughed it up 3 times tonight. Let's watch it again. Michael Allen was the running back.
He's running, obviously hit after contact. He's trying to get more yardage. Good punch there by Colton Ferris.
Colton Ferris punches it out. Our player to watch.
Outstanding job by Colton Ferris. You know, he's leading the team in tackles with 74. He's got 10 or 11 tackles for a loss. And just, 2 interceptions, fumble recovery. He's just a very productive linebacker for this Appalachian defensive unit.
Move the sticks and end it. Marshall's got 2 timeouts remaining. J.J. Cole throwing his arms up in the air. What a game for the Mountaineer redshirt sophomore. And Trig Lewis, 33 carries for 175. Cole will take a knee. Marshall will take a timeout with 50 seconds to go.
Timeout, Marshall. That is their 2nd of the half. It'll be a 30-second timeout.
26-24. App State using the takeaways. The Mountaineers came in as one of the, I guess you could call it almost clumsiest teams from a takeaway standpoint in the country. They were -5. That was 110th in the nation, 11th in the Sun Belt. Marshall +9, second in the conference, 10th in the country. And it's App State +3 today that has led directly to this opportunity.
Well, and David Jackson, you know historically, anytime these two teams get together, it's a slugfest. It's a good football game. It goes down to the wire most of the time. And again, today has been no different. I mean, it's just been a good physical football game. You got two teams fighting for bowl eligibility. You got two teams fighting for a little pride. I mean, the season has not gone as well as either team would have liked so far. So just a good football game here today.
Cole will get the snap. He'll stand, he'll dance, and he will be whistled down, and Marshall will take that last time out with 46 seconds to go.
Timeout. Marshall.
Herd taking on Georgia Southern next week in Huntington. App State hosting Arkansas State
please
here.
Set the clock to 47 seconds.
Post-Turkey. Third down coming up. 47 seconds to play. App State trying to finish off what would be the bounce back of the season for sure, and a defining moment in the Dowell Loggins era. If they can just manipulate the clock.
You know, not just an outstanding offensive performance, but making plays when they had to today. I think Appalachian has 303 total yards, 134 rushing, but Trigg Lewis was outstanding today in running the football, but kudos to that offensive line, too, for just kind of getting after Marshall's defense at the right time. I mean, they had some variability in performance, but at the right times, they really got after them.
Cole's going to take off and try to run, try to burn the clock. He gets at the 15-yard line. There's a second differential, so App State will have to let it roll. About a second in between. So the Mountaineers just gathering one more time to ice it, and this is going to be agony for Tony Gibson's club to have to stand here and watch it happen. Clock rolling down inside 15 seconds. Avery Hall, like I said, a defining stand-up moment for this App State football team.
You know, the way that things transpired last week, DJ, it would be easy to...
Timeout. Appalachian State, that is their first of the half.
Shot fireworks a little early.
Yeah, it'd be easy for this team to have come out and hung their heads and spend a little time in Pity City. But I thought they fought today. Now, DJ, you and I know they were without Jaden Barnes. Swan is hurt. Offensive line, Trent Ramsey's lineman Trent Ramsey's still out. Has and a couple other defensive players didn't play. A lot of people don't realize that. So this team fought, and they were able to pull out a win. So I think it's a huge step for this team. And forget us as fans, forget the coaches. I've been a player down there. These guys fought for each other today, and it just worked out. Because football's a game of inches. It's a game of luck. You know, and the ball could have bounced either way with two good football teams, two teams fighting their tails off. But Appalachian preserved and won.
2 seconds left. Cole will run it. Gets tackled. Clock 0. Ball game at the Rock. Mountaineers finish it off. They defeat the Marshall Thundering Herd. And both of these teams will play for bowl eligibility in the final week of the regular season. App State will host Arkansas State here at the Rock next week. And Marshall will need a win over Georgia Southern to punch their ticket toward a postseason chance. Avery Hall, your final thoughts on this one. What a game.
What a game. Colton Ferris, outstanding football game. Defensive line, kudos to those guys for playing hard and stopping the run. Good job with Trig Lewis and his offensive performance, running for over 100 yards. Great decisions by J.J. Cole today. Just a great effort with special teams. And you just have to really love the way this team responded to the adversity of last week, DJ.
So it all comes down to next week for App State as they take on Arkansas State. We are awfully excited to bring that one to you after we eat a little turkey prior to that. What a game at the Rock. Thanks for sticking with us. For our analyst, Avery Hall, our producer, Jeff Schatzel, and our fantastic crew who braved the chilly conditions to end this one, I'm David Jackson saying so long from Boone, where the final score reads App State 26, Marshall 24. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN. Good night from the Rock.